hot in here.
Take off all
Let's open the window. I don't know.
Welcome back, Wagoneers, to another exciting episode of the Wasted Wagons podcast.
Ow!
The Wasted Wagons are freshly back from a trip to St. Louis, and man, oh man, do we have a good time, and we have a lot to talk about on this pod based upon it. So we have our special guest with us today too. We can't leave this man out. He actually attended the trip with us, and this is the great Bob Hutchinson. Everybody.
Bob is a senior. Thank you.
Yeah. We technically have the same name. Yeah. You're not senior.
He's a third. I'm second. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And it's a pleasure to have you, Bob. It was a pleasure to have you on the trip. But like we said, we had a great time on it. It was a nice 4-day trip to St.
Very
Louis.
scheduled very well. Thank you.
That's the
itinerary was flawless.
Nobody here at the table can take credit for the itinerary. No trip planner kind of fell into place.
Just fell into
so very de-stressed and
kind of wish you were still in St. Louis.
Travis is being so humble right
I
now.
did. It was it made for a good, well-planned trip. Travis likes planning trips so much, he's already planned our next two.
Whoa.
You okay there?
I didn't plan one to California yet. I know we're going.
Travis would make Kendrick Lamar proud. He's being humble.
Well, and on that note, wagons have no. I mean, does anybody want to start with what was their most enjoyable? How about we just start with the way we got there? Does anybody want to start with that?
Let's just all recap what we did or how we got to St. Louis. The fact that we made it. You want to do it after?
I mean, it's up to you. I mean,
We've already opened the can of worms.
Yeah,
Let's just
go
go
ahead.
ahead and eat them.
Travis opened.
Let's go ahead and eat them.
why would we stop?
I know we just stopped.
You're just going to go to waste if we don't eat them.
All right, so I guess you can say the train idea was more of my idea too. Like, cause I've been on a train before, but I was like, hey guys, what do you think about taking the train up there? We can fly back
And take a nice shuttle.
and in an unknown shuttle. But so yeah, we all kind of agreed to take the train. So there were 7 of us on the train. 2 of those being little boys, like kids under 13. And you've been through Amtrak, and it was the first leg of the train was a 12-ish hour ride to Carbondale, Illinois.
13.
13.
Who's counting, right?
Carbondale?
Carbondale, yeah.
Carbondale, Illinois. Such a
I
fine
was just there
town.
last week.
Really? What are you doing
I
there?
mean, 2 days ago, my wife and I went to Indianapolis.
He really
to the
was.
Eucharistic
He's not making
Congress,
this up.
and we had the wrong address to the hotel, and we ended up in Carbondale, but it was 11 miles north. But just at Carbondale, so that's where y'all went, Carbondale.
Did you go to Booties?
From St.
Is that what it was
Louis?
called?
Yeah.
Boobies.
Boobies. I had a restaurant, Boobies. It was burgers and dogs or
Right
something.
outside.
No,
The bus station.
we didn't.
Yeah. Had we known, we would have just stayed
Carbondale,
inside that movies and then waited for a different way of getting to St. Louis.
And then just
Carbondale
walk to
is
St. Louis.
I mean, we're driving away from St. Louis, and y'all went to Carbondale.
Carbondale was the first stop, and then from there you had
Y'all
a 2
got
hour.
out?
You had a 2. Yeah, we had to get off the train, depart the train, go to the station, and then it was a 2-hour van/bus ride to St. Louis from Carbondale.
They could
Explain
stop
what
in
you mean.
Sykestra.
Explain what you mean by van/bus.
So
Bus/van.
More like van/van.
yeah,
Yeah.
when you book the ticket on Amtrak, they tell you like, hey, there's a connection and there's a bus service from Carbondale to St. Louis, 2
that's
hours.
a
Like,
long
okay,
way.
cool. You're thinking maybe like Greyhound bus because maybe there's probably a lot of people going. Maybe a bigger size, or a smaller size bus to commute like that. That
School
is
bus
not
even.
what-
I
yeah.
mean,
I would take a school bus.
bus was
What
more
they-
like a
what they
verb
gave
in
us.
this case. You know, they're going to bus us over there. Okay.
But
Well, I think we were all looking out the window for a shuttle bus or.
They're like, no, wait in front. It'll be here for you.
And the guy's like, no, it's gonna be a red van. It's not out there yet.
And a guy that unfolds a piece of paper out of his pocket and starts reading the roll like we're kids in high school.
So I'm glad you brought up a piece of paper and checking names off a list. So back to the actual train.
Not checking IDs, just reading names. They're
Yeah.
like, yep, that's me. You know, that could have been anybody standing there.
Mike, we get to the station. Our train departs about 1:45. I didn't know, but if you were to check a bag, you have to be there an hour ahead of time to check bag, right? So none of us had a check bag. We all had carry-on stuff. So we get there 12:30, 12:45, 1 o'clock, something in that range for most all of us. And then they call our group to come up, and it's like, all right, if you're going to Memphis, here. Going to Carbondale, you're in this line. So we all get in line. We all have our paperwork out so they can scan our ticket or ID or whatever like that. We get in line. The first Memphis group goes on. We step up. She's like, where you got Carbondale? Okay, 4th train on the right when you get out. Cool. No checking of like paperwork, ID yet. Okay.
No metal detectors.
Yeah, so maybe
Nothing.
before we get on the train, they'll check our ID or whatever like that. We get to the train, and she's like, all right, Carbondale. Yeah, she goes, go on in, top or bottom, sit wherever you want. There's luggage storage on the bottom, sit wherever you want. Okay. We all kind of get situated together, like a little 4-pod of seats together like that. No big deal.
So no TSA or anything like that.
No.
No cavity searches or
No
anything.
cavity searches.
No
metal detectors.
No. So, and we kind of talked ahead of time. We were like, hey, can we bring alcohol? And I'm like, I don't think the website says you can't. So let's not chance it just in case. So we didn't bring any alcohol, right? They did have a bar and a food cart downstairs, so that was cool. But yeah, once we get on the train, I'm thinking like, wait a minute, they've not looked at any of our bags at any point in time. We could have brought copious amounts of like beer, alcohol, whatever, and
Or bombs.
Guns,
Yeah,
bombs, bongs,
they've been
whatever.
none the wiser, right? So we're all situated, and all of a sudden, train starts taking off, and we're like, all right, I guess we're going. All right, cool, trip started, right? Still no ID check, and then like 20 minutes in, they make an announcement that, hey, the conductor's gonna come by and check your IDs. Okay, cool.
So like, what happens if you don't have your
They
ID?
kick you out while the train is in motion.
Good question, man. We're rolling, and there's this one kid who keeps coming by, and he's asking random people if they have any money to spare so he can pay for his ticket. And like, this is odd.
What was his nationality? All right, sorry.
Unless I get to that.
All right, I'm sorry.
You know.
I don't, but it's
Well, you know.
okay.
If
sorry.
you know, you know. So we're moving along, right?
If you close the curtains, it would be hard to see him.
So everyone's
Oh,
Just
situated.
saying.
No
And
wonder.
we're moving.
No wonder.
I meant on the train, not outside.
That's why you got removed from a friend.
Hey, by who?
So
I still have plenty of friends.
we're moving along. They open up the drink and food cart downstairs. Well, we kind of all get up and go look because like there's an observation cart behind us.
So it's Asian.
And it was awesome, right? So it's like it's got little windows so you can look outside. It's got like open like a roof, windows in the roof. So there's a lot of like sunlight coming in. There's chairs and benches, booths situated where you can face each other and talk and have a good time like this and that. So that was really cool. So we're all kind of up there just shooting the shit.
The windows leak a little bit when
There-
it's raining, but you
There
know.
was a little bit of leakage from one of the window seals.
Was this Slam Track or Amtrak?
Seepage.
Yes.
But the
So
thing,
y'all still on the train?
We're not even.
We're not even to the
we're not
van
even-
truck
we're not even
yet.
30 minutes in.
Oh,
So the
so
first
wait, y'all
stop-
went to Carbondale and switched
Wait,
trains?
not yet. Not
Not yet.
this-
Oh,
this
I'm
is-
sorry.
Wait,
Just
Let's
follow
go
it.
with
Just
the-
listen.
we're just talking about
About the-
departing New Orleans.
we,
Still,
we're barely out of New Orleans.
Real quick, how old was the kid? Asking for
Early 20s.
Early 20s.
kid.
Why is
fucking
this
man.
relevant? What, this isn't-
Because I don't know the story. I mean, that might be right.
I would-
I was picturing a little homeless.
That's good having
Kid of
Mike,
some descent.
Mike here to ask those questions.
Excuse me, sir. Can I give you a blowjob for money for a ticket?
He asked Patrick first.
Not quite.
Anyway.
But one of the conductors came by and said, "Hey, did a young man pass through here?" Like, yeah, he keeps passing back and forth. And as though he's trying to get people to pay for his ticket. And it's like, well, if y'all would have collected tickets before we got on, y'all wouldn't have totally moved here. Why is he on the train?
So what are they gonna do when he gets to the destination? It's like, all
I
right.
guess
Anyway,
first, I guess
So-
first
all
stop
right.
they were gonna kick
There
Let
we
him out.
Patrick
go.
finish his story.
We get to Hammond, which is about 45 minutes into the
Yeah,
ride.
we're
We get
Still
to
in
Hammond.
Louisiana.
Hammond's the first stop.
Hammond,
The
Louisiana.
gentleman gets off the train because he does not have a ticket. So he gets off,
Yeah.
and at this point, the conductor comes by, scans our ticket, paper on the app or whatever. He's like, "Oh, you're good to go." Still have not checked a bag. Nothing. There's no security. No security. So yeah, like
Security.
when you said that you can bring, like bombs, explosives, guns, whatever on the train, could have brought anything you wanted. It was like just free for all on that. So
Pre 9/11.
I think the most disturbing part though is the fact that the beers were not overly priced on the train. They were reasonably priced, I guess, compared to like going to a sporting event or something like that. But the idea that you could have brought your own 6-pack on the train, would have made it a little more frustrating.
I would have bought a fucking full bar. I would have put at least.
Patrick would have bought his backpack.
The bag I brought with 6 bottles in it, I would have brought that fucking thing. Had I known.
Yeah.
But,
It's a carry-on, yeah.
Yeah, so
It's a
not
carry-on.
They
once
said
ever.
each person was allowed 2 bags up to 50 pounds.
Yeah.
That's a lot of weed.
Yeah, we don't want to just transport weed.
That's a lot of drugs. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would never do that, because I'm a good upstanding citizen. Don't do drugs, kids. But yeah, so we get through Hammond, and I think we maybe took
Do drugs, kids.
6
Nope,
other stops
smoke
for like smoke break, walk around, stretch your
That
legs,
brings me to my
whatever.
next point.
We went through Jackson, went through Memphis, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
And-
we went to Yazoo City. Don't forget
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
We got to see all the back roads of
Very
Mississippi.
scenic trip.
Yazoo City looked like it hadn't recovered from Katrina. It
Real
was-
quick, who was on the bus?
On the
This
train.
is a
On
trip.
I mean,
The train.
On the train, I'm sorry.
So
on the train.
you have Todd and Travis,
Uh-huh.
me, Russell, Todd and Travis's kids, and Sean.
Sean.
Okay.
So we're all kind of packed up together like that. And so
And-
we honestly we
And
spent
you.
And
we
me.
spent most of the time kind of in the observation
Gotta be
room
your train.
up until about maybe 8:30, 9 o'clock when some people started kind of filter back to go get some sleep because we were supposed to get into Carbondale around 3:30 in the morning. So we're all just kind of shooting the shit, hanging out, getting some food, drinking a couple beer or two here and there. And honestly, I don't know about you guys, but for me, the 13 hours went by pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't bad at all. That
With a
was
group
one
of
thing I was
friends,
worried
yeah,
about.
it flies by. Yeah.
We're all sitting in the observation room, shooting the shit, drinking, watching the Orioles game, cutting in and out.
Oh, yeah, the Orioles game?
Yeah, we were
On his
watching.
Oh,
phone.
yeah. We
What a good
brought
train.
all the exceptions. I had my tablet, so we were watching
could
Todd
have-
I
play.
pulled out the laptop and booked the rental car and everything. We did all kinds of
Russ was playing World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I saw that on the live video.
Kids were watching it like that. So like the train ride itself was actually pretty damn cool. It was very laid back and chill. The seat was nice because it had a pretty good recline to it, so you could get into a good sleeping position for however long you want to try to sleep on that.
Better than
I
a Greyhound.
have to disagree. I pretty much was on like a 45-degree angle. I tried to get some sleep. I slept maybe a half an hour on that
Because
train.
it kept
and-
stopping, people kept walking back and forth, so it was kind of
Yeah.
it was kind of tough. To
People
sleep.
kept, people kept asking you for money. And
Once you got to the nighttime, let's say after 8, 9 o'clock
Change.
when we all
Change.
kind of left to go to try to get some sleep, on a plane you couldn't recline back as far as
No.
the seat could. So it was pretty comfortable relative to how she would travel.
Sorry, Patrick, but on a plane, was still an idea because he misunderstood how much it cost
Yeah.
on the train when you told him how we got there in an hour. So, I mean,
Hour,
and
13
that
hours,
is-
who's
we were
counting?
there at 8:05.
But you missed the van ride.
It was more
I
about,
know.
it was more about the
We
experience.
could pick y'all up in Carbondale.
Yeah.
I think we can all walk away from this saying that it was definitely about the experience.
Oh, yeah.
More than-
No, but I think the
I
train,
mean-
train will have that I would have enjoyed.
It was like a rolling cafeteria where you could sit general admission,
If
any
it
tables,
were-
and
I've taken trains
we-
before. I enjoy it.
we spent probably 10 hours in that observation car versus
Right.
the seats.
Just the idea of having friendly conversation and keeping each other occupied, it made the time go a lot faster. I think the negative, the most negative side of the train, I'll go with Sean. I had a hard time falling asleep on it, but again, if that's the worst thing about it, I'll be okay because I don't know if I sometimes you can get uncomfortable on a plane too trying to sleep. It's just much quicker flight,
And again, like I said, the 13 hours for me, it kind of flew by at a pretty good pace because we were all just kind of hanging out, talking, and having a good time, just shooting the shit. And then the sleeping part wasn't the most comfortable, but it worked out, right? So we get to Carbondale. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:15ish like that, and it's kind of raining outside. So we all get our bags and get off, and they're like, "All right, if you're going so and so, you stay on this cart. If you're going to St. Louis, go inside to the terminal, and they'll direct you where you got to go from there. So we all get our bags and we're walking off the train, and people are getting in line to board the train, right? Well, I kind of noticed, I'm like, all right, inmate. There was like 5 or 6 like inmates who are fresh out of jail.
Wearing their cut off like gray matching shirt and pant, like Bill Belichick looking scrub looking outfits.
They're all wearing like.
Were they wearing the shoes, the little like slides?
Yeah, they got
The
slides,
shower
all
shoes.
whatever.
The shower shoes, yeah.
But they're like the same generic like button down like Dickies type shirt and like long shorts. And
The formals.
The pants look like sweatpants that were just cut off at the bottom.
The prison formals.
Yeah.
So Carbondale has a prison.
Conrail? I mean, what?
Yeah.
Those guys these guys.
Carbondale has a
Did
prison.
these guys get off the train then?
No, these guys were getting on.
They were on the.
They were getting
They
on.
know like you guys.
So I guess that answers your question.
Yeah.
But like they all had like a mesh drawstring bag
Yeah.
with their like
Stuff.
their outfit and
Belongings.
belongings in it. So we're kind of walking
Sir,
by
are these your
and whatever.
A couple of undershirts and a towel, probably.
Yeah. We get into the terminal,
Shanks.
and at some point, a guy comes out. He's like, "All right, if you're going to St. Louis, the van will be outside in a little bit up front to pick you up." And we're like, "Van?" Now, mind you,
Did he say van or bus?
I thought. I don't know if he said van.
He said van.
He did say van.
Yeah.
He
We
said
were
van.
just in
Ticket.
denial on that first time we said
Yeah.
that.
The ticket.
No, we
said
paid.
bus.
We paid
Yeah.
for a bus,
The
sir.
ticket said bus.
Like, wait, come again?
He said van. So we're all kind of sitting there.
Down by the river.
We're in like a fog because it's like 3:30 in the morning.
Live in a
Dark, pitch
van.
black outside, raining, and there's a few ladies that are waiting to get on. It's like, okay, there's like 7 of us, 2 of them, whatever. The guy comes inside, he's like, oh yeah, van St. Louis, like yeah, out here. So we walk out the terminal and we just kind of freeze and stop and look, and it's a bright red Chevy like
Kind of van.
2500 Econo van, and we're like, we're all kind of looking like, are we okay?
And how many people are going to be in this van?
There's 7 of us plus
Enough.
2 ladies that we saw, so there's 9 right now.
They took up a couple seats.
And one con.
One contact and the driver. And the driver.
Yeah.
Didn't the ladies take up a few seats?
Oh.
We'll get to the ladies. Debbie was a problem.
Debbie, first
Debbie
aid basis.
No, that's just what I told her. I don't know if my name. I don't know if I
And y'all are all sitting on bench seats.
Now keep in mind,
So
there were
here,
10 seatbelts in there and 11 passengers. So
yeah. Well, no, there was 11 seatbelts.
Debbie
10 of
took
them got used, like they were supposed to. One seatbelt got into a really uncomfortable place for one unlucky person. That being me.
Patrick.
So we go out to the fucking van, and we're all kind of looking at each other like, what the fuck is this, man? But like, I guess we're getting on the van. We don't have another fucking option. It's not like we can call a Uber to take us 2 hours to St. Louis, right? So
In hindsight, we could have walked, you know.
What?
Whoa.
Woo.
we start loading our luggage in the back. And I'm doing the math, and I'm like, man, this is gonna be a fucking tight, cramped seat ride. And the driver even said that. He's like, yeah, it's gonna be a little tight in here. I'm like, no shit. So the driver gets in the front, obviously. I think, was it Sean, were you in the front seat
Russell
first?
was in the front. To start.
Russell was in the front seat first. So the next
I got
row,
to share the middle seat,
yeah,
just saying.
the next row behind the driver is
Ruth Ann and
one of
Tammy.
the ladies, and
Ruth
then
Ann
another
and
lady
Tammy.
that I dubbed Diabetes Debbie.
Oh, okay, diabetes, Jimmy, and
She was a
Tammy.
bit larger, and she took a lot of space. She had like the kind of flappy arm thing going on. I'm like, you know, I'm being an asshole, but I'm like, I can't die because I'm mad. I'm legitimately pissed that I was told we were getting on a bus service.
Yeah.
It's a fucking.
Don't need to
It's
take
a
it out
fucking
on
van.
Debbie.
Yeah,
It's not
doing-
Debbie's fault.
it
She likes
wasn't
sugar
Debbie's
and
Can't blame
Krispy
Debbie.
Kreme and
fault.
stuff.
No, I don't blame Debbie at
Well,
all.
the 4
So
prisoners.
it's the 2 ladies and me on the edge. I have my left ass cheek on the seat. My right leg is hanging off, like on the floor, and I'm using my hand and elbow to brace myself. Right. The seat behind me is the ex-con. Again, fresh out of jail because he has his mesh bag with goodies and his belongings. Who was next to him?
So Sean, huh?
Sean was
Sean.
sitting next to him.
Thankfully,
Todd and I and the boys were in the
thankfully, nobody sat next to me and made me scoot to the middle.
Yeah.
So we did have a buffer. I didn't like
Sean
sit.
would've definitely got shanked
I didn't
over.
sit cheek to cheek with the guy.
Yeah. So that's the layout.
We
It's
sleep ass to
Diabetes
ass.
Debbie and her friend, me. Sean and the ex-con. And then Todd Travis and their boys in the back. Russell up front.
Russell on the comfy seat sitting shotgun.
So
Yeah, it looked like Russell in his genuine ass self was just having a nice little conversation with
Russell
the
had the fucking best seat in the house.
I know, yeah. He's like, oh, where are we going?
He's texting. He's like, "This seat's quite comfy up here."
So-
We're like, "Hey, fuck you."
We take off, and the driver says, "Hey, it's about a 2-hour ride. We're gonna stop about halfway through, so we can guys kind of like stretch, whatever, maybe get a snack or something from a gas station, yada yada yada."
So Debbie can eat.
And we're all thinking, "No, just get
Y'all
us
didn't
to
have
our."
to pay the van.
Debbie needed to get herself a honey bun. I tipped the guy. I felt bad for him.
No, I'm saying tip.
But it was part of it was.
Did you
included in
tip
price
the
of the ticket.
con or the?
No, the driver. I did wish the con good luck though.
Yeah.
I told him his fucking life
Let's
story.
get that too. So we take off, and I'm fucking fuming. And the only way I can prevent from losing my fucking mind, I'm like, well, there's got to be some humor in this. So I fire up our group text, and I'm like, blah blah blah. I'm like, this is bullshit. I'm like, oh, by the way, the seatbelt is in my ass. Like I can't get like into the seat because Debbie's taking up so much space. So I'm stuck with a seatbelt up my ass.
So I was there in spirit. Is what you're saying?
Yeah. So Todd, at one point made a comment about him having to take a shit. Every time we hit a fucking bump on the road, he'd be like, "Uh-oh, oh well, that definitely loosened me up a little bit." So all you hear, the ride is silent. Like the driver's talking to Russell for a little bit. Everyone else behind him is just like fucking silent. We're firing off text messages about
Keep in mind, 3:30 in the morning, and
raining.
Biff's brother, Bob's son, Dylan, is on this text 3:30 in the morning in his bed back in Metairie, Louisiana. And his phone's right. This is on his nightstand buzzing at 3:30 in the morning.
It wasn't long before we hit the road where it was pitch black everywhere, and the only light was the light of the headlights.
Yeah.
We're like, we're pretty sure this is where he's going to shank us all and steal the van.
I'll give you some.
Well, he was fresh out of jail. He didn't want to go back.
Yeah.
So wait, do we know what he was in jail for?
Let's see.
I don't think it was.
I don't know.
I don't think he ever clearly said it, but he gave us a couple of. I think it was either drugs or theft, and then he violated his parole.
He did say he violated his parole.
Let's get that in a second. So we're cruising.
He did give
stay
us
on
some great
track.
information. He says, you definitely don't want to go there.
Yeah.
From his experience, he let us know you don't want to go to prison. It's a rough
Stay out of
place.
the box.
It's a rough place. I didn't know until he told us.
Carson and Camden, he said they could give their impression.
We're chucking down the interstate, right? And it's fucking pissing raining, and I'm like, yep, this is a fucking Saw movie.
Oh yeah, it was. It
This
was.
is how I'm keeping sane. Is just making light of the
It was
situation.
raining its ass off when we first left,
wanna
and thinking,
play
I
a
hope this
game,
guy knows how to
motherfuckers?
drive.
And then
Yeah, it was storming when we
we
left.
get down off the interstate to this 2-lane road, pitch black. Either side is like fucking cornfield, and I'm like, how long into the ride before like there's like something in the road to make us swerve, and we're going to end up in a ditch, and all of a sudden there's going to be some escape ex-cons that come over to take me out.
That was in a.
And now we're in a fucking hostage situation. I'm like, but hey, if that's the case, I'm fucking fuck Debbie. I'm pushing that bitch to the front first. Debbie's gotta go. I got a chance. I'm kicking Debbie out the way, and I'm fucking running. I am not dying first in this fucking horror movie. Not.
This was about when we were in Pinckneyville, Illinois. And the best was the texting because it's like dead silent in this van. And what cracked me up the worst was that when I made a comment in the text, and then I hear them giggling behind me at what I said, and then it made me start dying. I'm like tears rolling down my face, trying not to bust out laughing.
All you hear or see in the van is the glow of people's phones and a couple like chuckles and laughs from us. No one else is saying a word, like Debbie or the ex-con or the driver. No one's really saying a word. It's just us chuckling through text message about what's going on.
So wait, there was only one woman in the van?
Two.
Oh, okay, all right.
Debbie and her friend.
Debbie and Ruth Ann.
Yeah, Debbie and Ruth Ann. So we get to like, I guess about the halfway point. We pull up into a gas station. He's like, all right, go in. You want to stretch your legs. Todd, not to tell you this, Todd went in to go try to take a shit, I believe.
Were you successful?
No, you did not, but you tried to.
No, that's right. Because I went at the train station when we got back, at the bus station in St. Louis.
So, Todd, Travis, the kids go inside. Debbie and Ruth Ann go inside. I'm outside with Russell, and we're just talking about just what's going on so far.
Our man's first priority was to go buy a pack of smokes.
Yeah, so like in the text while we were driving, I think the first One of the top 5 I came up with, like, top 5 things the ex-con's going to do now that he's out of jail. It's like, no. I was like, hijack a van, find a lot lizard, buy cigarettes, buy a lottery ticket, this and that. So he goes inside. What's he come out with? A pack of smokes and a handful of lotto tickets. I'm like, oh, man.
I remember the lotto tickets.
Yeah. And we're parked next to, like, you know, if you go buy a propane tank, like the metal grate they have, like the enclosure for that. We're next to a propane tank and a kerosene tank station. Homeboy just fires up a fucking cigarette. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? What? Okay, whatever.
Patrick, what city you're in right now?
Pinckneyville, Illinois. Somewhere.
Pinckneyville, Illinois.
Picnic.
So yeah, we're about 40.
Still in Illinois.
Yeah, we're about 45, 50 minutes from St. Louis at this point.
Wow.
This show's thread.
So, all right, everybody gets through everything. Todd didn't go number 2. We get back on the fucking...
Todd didn't do it?
No.
Oh.
I was in St. Louis.
Now I'm trying
We're
to...
not there
You
yet.
told people that?
I'm trying to make a little more room next
On
to
the
me to
airwaves.
get my, that seatbelt out of my ass. Unsuccessful. The entire ride, just seatbelt off my ass. Right down, right? So...
I remember you getting too ahead of yourself. When I died laughing, I was still sitting next to the guy. Is when I saw the sign for Pinckneyville, Illinois, and I said, Todd found it. Pinckneyville certainly sounds like where that thing from Jeepers Creepers resides. And I heard them like instantly in the back, and then I started losing it. I was like tears rolling down my face, trying not to crack up laughing.
Do you think that the convict realized we were probably talking about him via text? I'm gonna kill these motherfuckers.
When I was sitting next to him at Middle C, he was like in like a crumpled heap. Like his head was down. He was all like this. It was like...
Dude, I can't even find where this fucking thread starts because it's so many texts.
I think the number one on my list of top 5 things that ex-con's going to do when he gets out of jail was probably rob a liquor store or a gas station. Either way, probably going to happen. So now we're on the road again. Sean and Russell have swapped spots. So Sean's up front, Russell behind me. Everything else is the same.
I had to listen to the cheesy driver jokes. Like,
We're-
you want to drive? I'm like, no, you're good.
We're cruising along, and fucking either Ruth Ann or Debbie starts making small talk with the ex-con. And I'm like, oh, come on, man. Like, about what's he there for, this and that.
Oh, gosh.
I'm like, fuck. So then I text the group, I'm like, guarantee you, we're about to get some Jesus talking, preaching coming in. Book it. And he starts talking about, about why
We
he
had
was
the bingo
in.
card going. Like,
Yeah.
Betty's going to say this. Betty's going to say that. It was like, ding, ding, ding.
And of course, he's like, yeah, his grandmother, apparently like his grandmother passed, and I let him down like some drugs, and he doesn't speak to some of his family anymore. And he tells about what he's going to do when he gets back to wherever he's going. He's like, I'm getting home, I'm getting all my stuff, probably going to talk to my brother, and I'm moving down to Florida, I'm going to do work in landscaping, yada, yada. And then he talks about how, like, well, it's all part of a plan. God's got a plan for that. And I'm like, bingo, call it, talking about Jesus, but I'm preaching the good word. And fucking Debbie's like, oh, yeah, I used to work in the system, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, fuck you, Debbie. Fuck you for all of this. This is all your fault. End of that, so we get to St. Louis, and we fucking just run out the van, grab our luggage.
What time did you get in St. Louis?
5:30. We was watching the sun come up.
Yeah, someone's coming up in St. Louis. We get there, we get our luggage. We all kind of sit around, trying to figure out what we're going to do for our Uber situation. Ex-con goes and finds a smoking spot outside with him and the driver. As we're there waiting to call an Uber or waiting for our Uber, we see there's a family reunion gathering about to happen.
Oh, Jesus.
Some people are already at the terminal. Some people just landed their terminal, but they all have on like their same
shirts,
the matching shirts for the family reunion from both. Like some have like one family name, some have the other family name. So we're just kind of laughing. I'm like, man, how do I get invited to this soiree? Where are they going? They're all my complexion, so I'm like, can I get an invite to this thing? Can I bring 7 people with me? What's up? What's the deal with that?
And we saw you, man, with the sweat rag walking around.
Oh yeah, and
conducting. He wasn't an opera man or nothing. He was conducting traffic and
then I
getting his families in line.
The group of how, when you see the guy, the gentleman at the cookout with the towel in his back pocket, that is more than likely 95% or more the cook, the barbecue man. He's got to have a sweat rag. One, he's big, or he's got to wipe the sweat with his face from the grill because it's hot. But yeah, especially as a bald head, he is 100% absolutely the cookout.
Holding it in his hand the whole time.
Oh, for sure.
One free hand, one hand for the sweat rag.
Probably drinking Heineken.
Drinking Heineken.
Yeah, it was an eventful.
But you don't bring that to the first cookout.
You don't bring Heineken to the first cookout.
Thank
you bring
you.
something generic. Then you get invited to the second cookout.
That's good to know.
Yes, yeah. That's
Miller Lite, domestic.
Yeah, something.
I've taken notes.
Something safe. Something non-presumptuous.
All I know, I think we all got our rental cars about the same time.
Yeah.
We flew, and y'all rode the train. I don't think I'd have liked the last part. I think the train thing was a good idea.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
they didn't plan
I
on the
like the-
van ride.
if the train would have rode us directly to St. Louis, we would have no complaints here. You know?
Except for the fact that there was no ID check or.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
but I mean,
yeah,
that they got
that's-
over
They
it.
didn't confiscate my machete or anything that I had on me. You know.
And again, at the end of the day, we all made out alive, and we have a story to tell. So,
With a whole thread full of funny ass
yeah,
texts.
would I do the train again? Sure, maybe in a shorter distance and travel time. Yes.
Not if you're going to St. Louis, because we just drove. My wife and I just drove last 2-3 days ago. We drove up to 55 North. We're going to Indianapolis. And it gets to St. Louis or
Carbondale?
Pickneyville.
Chicago. And that's Citrus, Louisiana. Citrus, Missouri. And we take a right, and we drive like an hour and a half to Carbondale. Then you had to come back that way. I mean, Carbondale, we saw it. It was a couple hours.
We didn't go to St. Louis though. The train brought us to Carbondale, then we had to go to
Yeah,
St.
I
Louis.
know the train didn't go to St. Louis.
But it was
I'm saying
obvious.
Amtrak goes through
I
St.
would have known
Louis.
Carbondale. if
Slam
y'all
track
mentioned
goes
it.
to Carbondale.
And what was odd, like talking to people about that we were talking to while we were out in St. Louis, they were like, "Oh, well, the Amtrak goes to St. Louis. Like, why didn't y'all just have a straight Amtrak to St. Louis?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just booked what Amtrak gave me available." And
You
they
go on
told
the
me,
website just like a flight, and you say, "I'm trying to get to
Must
New
be-
Orleans or St.
must
Louis,"
be
and
only
this is
certain-
what they
must
gave
be
you.
only
This was
certain-
the route.
This
This was the route they gave you.
Price for it, right?
Probably.
Yeah, so the tickets that
The
Dylan
guy
looked
saved
at,
$50.
I sent Dylan my screenshot where I bought tickets for Todd and I and the boys, so it was 4 tickets. So when Dylan saw it, I said, "Oh well, screw that, $300. I'm just gonna pay. I'm just gonna buy a plane ticket." Meanwhile, it was only like $75 a ticket or something like that. So
Yeah.
it was a good price for what it was. And
So you get to the Airbnb.
wait, we
Alright.
didn't go right to the Airbnb because we couldn't check into the Airbnb.
I was about to say, Todd and
Still
Travis's
4
luck
o'clock
was
then.
not the greatest on this because we had to get separate Ubers. Me, Patrick, and Russell get an Uber with some guy, a local, and he's telling us all about St. Louis and this and that. He
Trying
knows
to get a good tip.
exactly where to bring us to the terminal, where the rental cars are, and all this kind of stuff. He brings us right to the rental car place. They get like Habib, who can't speak English, and drops them off like at the actual airport.
Wait a minute.
Habib.
Wait a minute. Habib.
That was his
Is he
name,
on a
right?
Texas license?
That was probably his real name, right?
They said he didn't-
Reginald?
they said he barely spoke
originally,
English.
I thought you said it was
So
Reginald.
look, I'm not gonna lie. I started getting a little nervous in the Uber because this guy didn't speak English, and the tracker on my Lyft app like went out in the middle of this guy's car.
Where was the
So then like I keep looking.
St. Louis.
One of those Middle Eastern
I keep
countries.
looking at my Lyft app on my phone, and like the minutes keep going up. It's saying you're gonna arrive at this time, and like it keeps going up in time. And I was like, what is this dude doing? Is he taking us on the right thing? So I had to keep looking at his GPS to figure out if he was looking at taking us to the right place. Well, then he gets to the airport and he drops us off at the departures. And then I keep trying to tell him like, no, I think we got to go to the rental car.
Rental
And
car,
he's
car,
and he's
car.
just pointing to his GPS. He couldn't understand a word I was saying. So then I was like, you know what, dude, just drop me off here. So we got off where he dropped us off. But
Got some
yeah,
cardio in.
So
I was
me, Patrick, and Russell get the rental car and have to go find Todd and drive.
I was at,
Wait, what?
at that,
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the rental car
I know that
place,
story.
the rental car place is on the other side of the highway.
Yeah.
So then we have to go to the airport and find out where they got dropped off at.
They got
They were
dropped
at
off
like one of the
departures.
terminals. Yeah.
I kept pointing to the sign saying
Y'all had
the rental car, and he couldn't understand me. He's pointing to his GPS saying, "No, this is where you're going." So I was like, you know what, cool, I'm out. So I was just glad to get out the car because I don't care what you fucking say. This is what my GPS says.
Is that what he sounded like?
I mean,
And he sounded like
to be honest with you, nothing that was going to happen from the minute we got out of the van to when we got home was going to be as bad as the 2.5
Oh, no.
hours in the fucking murder van. So I didn't care. Like, oh, we gotta go drive halfway across town to do this, do that. Oh, the interstate's closed at a lot of
Once you get to
exits.
St. Louis.
Yeah.
I had the approach of like, listen, I made it. I'm
Yeah.
good.
I'm
I
safe.
don't care about anything else because what I experienced for 2.5 hours, nothing is gonna be as worse as that.
I'm not a lampshade in some freaky guy's apartment.
Yeah, so
We had the rental car guy bring us out a nice Dodge Durango and was showing it to us like he's a car salesman. We're like, this is fabulous, sir.
so
We can drive ourselves, thank you. I don't really care what you bring us right
So
now.
our check-in time at the Airbnb wasn't until 4:00 p.m. But the lady did say she had somebody checking out at 11 o'clock, and we could bring our bags at that time and drop the bags off. But she said she had to do some cleaning. And at first we were thinking like, why don't we just keep the bags in the car? But then we realized how cramped that was, and it wasn't going to work. So, but we did have time to kill. So in between going to the Airbnb, we went and checked out St. Louis University.
Oh.
And that was
Well, first we had a nice breakfast.
We went to the Golden Pancake.
Pancake on the recommendation of the Uber
On the
driver
recommendation
that
of our Uber driver.
Yeah. And it was,
See, it
it
wasn't all
was
bad.
Typical like
Not Akbar.
Oh,
not a.
Habib, man. His name was Habib.
Oh, I'm
it
sorry.
was Reginald.
Of course.
Bah-
of course.
Baja
we did
Miller.
breakfast. Then we decided to go. Todd and Travis wanted to go to St. Louis University, go to the gift shop, get some merch, some stuff for the kids, maybe like that. So we parked over there, took a walk around their campus.
nice baseball field on the campus.
Nice baseball field.
Nice church.
The church was beautiful. The St. Francis Xavier Church.
That's not the church.
Is that
we
what it
went
was
to,
called?
Bob.
No, St. Mary Magdalene.
Was on. That's what I
It
went
went right, down Gravois
That's on West
Street.
Metairie.
They got great
It went down
librarians.
Gravois Street right next to Siegfried's.
Church was right
I
next
swear,
to
I saw a vape and lingerie. I said, look, oh, this is vape and lingerie.
I was like,
Right out of
I'm
church.
home.
And y'all
I was
named
like, I'm
it.
home.
Patrick showed me the pictures.
Whoa!
Next day.
No, Patrick did not show you pictures.
There was a brazier hanging on the church sign.
The church is
Church
okay,
you go to.
but it was on the left side. And y'all said Gravois. I happened to see a vape thing right there.
But, so yeah, we went and got breakfast. Started parked by went on a little walk around St. Louis University. Beautiful campus, nice amenities like that. Killed some time. So then we decided, all right, it's close to 11 something, 10:45. We go get in Holland to go to the Airbnb, and it was like so. Let me say this about St. Louis. I've been there before, obviously because that's when I went to my first baseball game / Cardinals game back in like '94, whatever, right? So I don't remember the city a whole lot, but I've been there. It was just St. Louis is kind of run down.
I remember my
St.
first
It's,
time.
yeah,
Yeah, I thought so.
but if
I remember my
you've
first
never been
beer.
there, you wouldn't think that because it's a major hub city.
Yeah.
But the locals will tell you, like, yeah, this is just kind of what it is.
That city was very under construction.
Yeah, super under construction. I couldn't tell you, like, almost every time we left to go somewhere, part of I-55 was blocked off at the on-ramp. So you had to go find and snake through a side street to get to a part of the interstate that was open just to go where you wanted to go. And for context, we stayed probably on average 5 to 6 miles from pretty much everywhere we were going to go. So it's not like we were far, but you had to drive almost a half to a mile to
You
a
can
mile
finish it
out of the way
right.
just to get to the on-ramp to go somewhere. The roads were okay, but yeah, the interstate was a real big problem. As far as the city itself, when you were not in downtown, like where we were staying in the Airbnb,
It was a shithole.
it's weird because it was like a lot
Yeah.
of older homes. Like our house was built in like 1894.
I thought the place was very nice.
It's a nice house, but like you drive.
I thought it had a wonderful.
So you're saying that St. Louis is a lot like New Orleans?
It's alright. It's a nice house.
Yes and no.
There were absolutely ghosts in there, but we'll get to that in a minute.
A lot of the homes were like older
Another
homes, or like
story.
a certain color and style of brick building. There were like not very many new modern looking homes. Everything had an older like
Oh,
Metal
60s
awning,
kind of build,
Like
metal
Gentilly.
awnings on windows. It looked a lot of New Orleans Eastish.
but maybe a little
Yeah.
bit older.
Older than Gentilly.
Yeah.
So like the neighborhood we were in had a lot of rundown looking houses in it. Not to say it was a bad, unsafe neighborhood, but it was just it didn't look like a lot. It looked like an area like for the house we stayed in, for example, looked like an older house that that this lady and her husband probably bought and renovated and rented out to people. And I think that's kind of what they're doing in that area, to tell you the truth.
The outsides look older homes. The inside, for the most part, will look a bit more modern. A lot of them probably still have like the old, like nice wooden floors, kind of like you see maybe uptown in some areas.
I was impressed with the house.
Oh, the house is.
There was a write up on the fireplace with a picture of the house and the history of how it was built in 1894 and about all the people that had died in it over the years. No, I'm kidding.
So, like, think
it fit 9 dudes comfortably. So I mean,
if you think of like if you went to like Charleston or another southern city that was kind of old timey like that, they have a lot of houses like that. That's how our neighborhood was. So it was fine. Like nothing was at all. We had a Starbucks on the other side of the road. We had a Lowe's and maybe a Walmart not too far away, and a local what was the grocery store?
Schnucks.
Super nice. Right by the interstate. Easy to get wherever we were going to go.
Thank God they had a Starbucks right there by next to Starbucks.
Yeah.
Right next to Little Caesars.
Nitro Cold Brew.
Yeah, because you love Starbucks. Right. You love Starbucks.
I can say that the houses, none of them had yards really. They were all built on these little hills.
Yeah.
We had to park behind the house.
So it's like Lakeview.
Like in the backyard.
The house is in the front and there's like an alleyway down the back.
Yep.
You turn down the alleyway to go into like the back of your house.
The Midwestern cities.
No real front or backyard. Just that was the kind of layout for it.
When me and Travis visited Mark in Pittsburgh, it was a lot like that too. The neighborhood he was in, there's a little back alleyway that led to almost like a driveway that led to the back door instead of the front door.
And St. Louis,
They go in the back door.
Plenty of parking
I
space.
prefer that style of house.
But plenty of parking in the back.
The back door entrance is always my favorite.
Preferred.
preferred.
What?
It's a little muddy in the back of the house, but comes with the territory.
Bob, you and Dylan actually arrived at the house first. What was your original thought?
Well, honestly, we pulled in and we passed it up to the, and then we would turn on Mott Street and went to the back, and it reminded me of my family's, my dad's family in Des Moines, Iowa. They had of course that's Midwest. They all did that stuff about the back. You didn't park on the street. They made back ways to get there, and so anyway, we pulled in. We figured we left at 7. We got there about 9 o'clock. We missed it. We could have gotten a van ride, but we rented a car and got to the right good directions out there. And when we went in, there was this very nice looking lady. Said, "Excuse me, sir."
At the Airbnb.
How old would you say she was? I mean, 50s, 60s?
No,
No.
yo, she was 40. I think 38, 37. No, wait, that was her age. I didn't mean her breast size.
Wow.
But anyway, this lovely lady,
38.
we pull in, and Dylan said, "You think we're too early?" I said, "I guess so." And then we got a text from you guys. Here we are we're at the Airbnb, and y'all getting y'all's rent-a-car. At least they got a rent-a-car. They're doing all right, So anyway, the lady opened the door for us and said, "You don't mind, come take your baggage over here." And so we're not open till 4 o'clock, so we knew that. And but she was very nice. And
Entrepreneur.
yes, it wasn't hard to look at. And I had no idea.
Easy on the eyes, huh?
Very easy on the eyes. I just thought she was a very good-looking person for a maid. I had no idea that. So what we learned later. But anyway, she let us in, put everything. But I was impressed with the Airbnb. Plenty of room for everybody.
Yep.
And you had to go upstairs, but it was very nice. I can't complain. It was a great trip.
Did she provide any other services? Bag checking?
She cooked. She baked she had a pie for us.
Yeah.
She also
got
her
pie.
American pie.
Gooey cake. Gooey cake.
She made some gooey cake.
Yeah. But
It was delicious.
I know when we first were looking at the picture of the house and wondering how we were going to fit everybody, because we did have 9 people staying in the house. Patrick was originally saying like, "Hey, look, everybody else can take the beds. I really don't mind sleeping on the sofa." Well, by the time we get in the house and realize how many beds this place actually had, Patrick didn't have to sleep on
That's
the
awesome.
sofa. I think there was 2, 4, 5, at least
There was one
six
downstairs.
beds. Yeah, 6 beds.
That's good.
1 downstairs and 5 upstairs.
Yep.
That's a big ass place.
Yep. So it was very nice, spacious. Again, and for the price and the location, I mean, it wasn't even but 10 minutes from downtown.
That's great.
So it was a nice little find.
10 out of 10.
You did a good job. You did a good job getting that place.
Hell of a job.
Good job, planner. Thank you. I don't
Seriously.
take credit for anything. Okay, but yeah, that day
I was
ended
the
up.
sole person to stay downstairs. Just saying. I mean,
So
I
it's
may
all
have heard
yours.
some weird things the first night, but then I didn't know what it was until the morning when I woke up and got some clarification. You know.
It was a
Well,
very.
wait. Let me just describe what I went through the first night. So, no more than 5 minutes after turning my lights off, I hear this like banging, a scream, and almost sounded like some scraping on the wall. And I'm like, "Oh, lights turning on, going right back on." And I slept with the lamp on, and I was like texting Patrick and Russell, who I just seen a few minutes ago. I'm like, "What the fuck is going on up there?" And no response. I'm just like, I have no idea what I just heard, but it sounded like something out of a horror movie.
Sean thought he was gonna walk upstairs to like 6 dead bodies.
And I mean, this room I was in, it was the back of the fireplace, so it had this weird stone column thing at the foot of the bed. It had this big, like, Egyptian-looking painting on the wall above me, real tall ceilings, and, had this old-timey looking thing to the room. And thinking I'm the only one downstairs. The lights, I left the lights in the dining room, everything kind of dimmed. I didn't make it pitch black in there. I was like, all right, let me just keep it safe in here. And then, laying down, trying to get some rest, and I hear this, like, boom, like the noise. I'm like, what the hell was that?
Snuff films or films?
I was like, I have no idea what I just heard, but I was like, yep, lights are on.
You didn't know what it was?
Nope, no idea.
Until the morning. But then, I'll go ahead and explain.
I don't know how.
Y'all were watching a movie?
No. So it was a very long day. We took the bus. We all got max 2 or 3 hours of sleep. And when we basically that night we went to the Cardinals game, we didn't get back to the house until 11:30.
Yeah.
So it was a real full day. Everybody operating on a couple hours of sleep. Well, basically the moment our heads hit the pillow, we fall asleep. Well, my son is in a deep sleep, and then he ends up waking up in the middle of the night with a night terror, and he just goes off on this long pitch scream, like.
We heard it.
I mean, I was like, and I'm sitting in the bed next to him. He wakes me up. I'm freaking out, and I'm trying to like shake him out of it, but he's just still dead asleep. And then Todd gets up and he's like, "Oh, what is that? What is that? What is it? What is that? What is it?" And I get up and I see Travis. It looks like he has Carson in like a headlock.
Dylan, I heard that. Dylan woke up and said, "Shut up, Gavin, shut up."
I'm asleep in the room next to them, and Russell is in the extension of the same. So like our room had 2 beds separated by a mini wall, but it's like it's open though. So I hear it. I wake up. I'm so exhausted. I'm like, huh? What? And I just hear Russell like, what the fuck? And then I immediately just went right. I'm like, fuck it. If I die, I die. Back to sleep, I go. I bumped out. I was like,
Yeah, I made it through the van ride.
listen, if you take me, just take me while I'm asleep.
Yeah.
Unless you're the Airbnb owner, then please take me while I'm awake. Suffocate me.
So basically, Carson eventually snaps out of it and stops, and everybody falls asleep. But that was what was responsible for what Sean heard. Now,
The best was I woke up to Russell had responded to my text when I woke up. Because I said, like, what the hell was that? And then I see his response, ghosts, LOL.
So that was that.
Pretty much.
That was the eventful first day. But after we got dropped our bags off the Airbnb, we did find a nice brewery. We'll talk about the breweries in a second on this trip. And then we ended up capping off the night with the main focal point of the trip, which was to go to a Cardinals game. Bob and Patrick here are resident Cardinals fans, and the Cardinals did not end up winning that game to the hated Cubbies.
No.
I did wear my Ryan Dempster jersey though.
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, you
I can say it felt like a Cubs home game where we were sitting, and then we did not witness a home run the whole time we were there.
Yeah, a lot of deep shots that just kind of fell on the warning track. Got pretty close to getting out.
If I may take 45 seconds of the podcast to talk to, quote unquote, my people, Cardinals fans, natives, in-towners, do better. It's your bitter rival. Do not let them come into Busch Stadium and take over the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
There were tons of Cubs fans all around us. And yes, St. Louis represents a lot of red and white.
They were
jerseys
cheering.
and that.
They were
But
cheering.
every time the Cubs
St.
did
Louis
something
wasn't
good,
cheering.
yeah, every time the Cubs did something, the entire Cubs section all over the stadium erupted, and they were cheering. And I was like, "Are we in Chicago? What the shit?" It was wild. But yeah, that was obviously aside of them losing the game, it was a bummer that there were so many Cubs fans in attendance. I get it; it's only like a 2 hour drive, so they probably travel well to the game. And there's probably a lot of local Cubs fans in St. Louis. I did not expect to see that many at that game because it felt like a road game when it was a home game, and that was disappointing to see.
And one of our trip guests just walked in the door. Russell,
Yes.
Russell, you missed the whole talk on our trip into St. Louis.
Oh, did I miss the sports segment?
No, you missed.
No, you're just in time for the sports segment.
God damn it!
Can you semi-quickly
Russell,
give
you
us
in the van?
a recap?
The murder van is the
Oh.
correct terminology.
Can you give us a quick recap of your experience of the train and everything post-train getting to St. Louis?
So the train, phenomenal. Had no expectation. We walk on without getting checked. Alcohol, like I can't wait to take the train again and bring a bottle of bourbon.
Or 2, or 3.
Multiple.
And a
I definitely plan on
machete,
taking the train
or
again.
two, yeah.
I've already looked up how long it takes to get to Houston. Probably gonna do that soon. It's just really casual. It's lots of room in your chair. With the observation cart, pretty phenomenal. I had my computer out. I was playing games. Like, it was great. The 2-hour bus ride, quote unquote, not so great. There was nothing bus about it. It was a murder van. No logo, no nothing.
Unmarked.
I'm surprised it didn't say free candy on the side.
It was painted red. They painted over the.
It was a
candy.
fresh painted coat because it probably was a white van that looked really raggedy at some point.
It was written in red, free candy. That's why they
I'm
painted it
surprised
red.
we had like windows.
That was, my first half of the ride was not awful because I got to sit in the front seat and I kind of dozed off for a little bit.
Yeah, we covered that.
Yeah.
But then I had to sit next to the ex-convicts, the freshly released ex-convicts.
You're welcome.
Who found Jesus and was telling us about it. And then Deborah had to engage. It was a wild ride. Would I do it again? Absolutely.
He's more formal, not diabetes Debbie. It was Deborah.
Deborah, I don't know you, but if I ever find you, I'm gonna slap the shit out of you.
But Russell,
It's like, how dare you engage?
she just wanted to see a success story from this young man that just left the box.
And listen, I wished well for the guy getting out and maybe he's trying to start his life over again because he.
Kinda like-
I mean, maybe they all say it,
Already
right,
finished
but
those.
just listening to the story, like, all right, cool, man. Hey, good luck to you. Hopefully, you can get back on the right path and get your shit together and be a contributor to society and this and that or whatever. But like, I don't want to hear this shit. I just want to get off this fucking van and get to my destination and enjoy my weekend with my friends. I don't want to hear about your life story, and I don't want to hear Debbie talking to you about when she worked in the system and this and that. Just get me to the fucking end destination so I can start enjoying myself.
When he's explaining how rough the box is and how rough prison is, and Debbie's agreeing, well, it's like,
Like, oh, yeah, uh-huh.
that's a rough place. You don't want to go there. It's like, yeah, I've seen movies and television before. I'll take your word for it.
I was fortunate enough to not have a seatbelt buckle in my ass. I can't say the same for everybody else.
Patrick said
Just
that
me.
multiple times.
Not everybody else, just me. I'll never be the same.
But would you agree though that even though we didn't expect what we got, and we walked away with good stories.
Oh, absolutely. Again, I would do it again just for the story aspect of it.
As a matter of fact, Todd ended up pulling up the text thread and just how long it was that we accumulated on a 2.5 hour drive. So it's definitely pretty funny. We also discussed getting in there, going to St. Louis University, and arriving at the Airbnb. What was your thoughts on the Airbnb?
I thought it was great. So like driving into it, it was a nice little neighborhood. I wasn't exactly sure if it was like desirable area, but like I wasn't concerned either. Yeah. But like it looked really run down. It looked old from the outside. Then we got inside and it was really nice. Oh, it was set up really nice too.
Have rum.
I would stay there again.
Want some rum?
I would have felt safer if I could have brought my guns with me on the train, knowing just that.
Oh, sure.
Because they weren't going to check me on anything, just in case.
The only moment that I was like, so I forget where we were headed, but we were a couple blocks away, and there was some super cracked out person like around the block from where we were staying. And that's the only time I didn't feel uncomfortable, but like
it's no worse than going anywhere in like deep like New Orleans East.
I work on Tulane Avenue. Like people have gotten shot right outside my place of business. Like I don't know. I'm desensitized to this stuff.
Yeah, same.
So I want to just ask a question. Why did y'all pick the train to go to St. Louis?
For the experience.
I understand that, but obviously, I mean, I just drove up. We just drove up last week to Sykestra, and it says St. Louis this way, Chicago this way, and then we drove 2 hours to Carbondale. 2.5, I just wondered if they could drop y'all off closer.
Not say like to blame, but I'm probably more responsible for us taking the train, bringing the idea up. Like, hey, if y'all never done this, then the train goes. It's only $120
My train experience is good.
Yeah, I think it was just more experience. Right. Again, would I do the same train to St. Louis again? Probably not, but maybe whatever. Yeah. But I don't think anyone else had been on the train before. Maybe Russell, I think, said he was on a train in Europe before. Right. But other than that, and I think Todd and Travis were on a train, but that was like an inner city train kind of thing.
Train's very economic.
Yeah, but it was a good time. I enjoyed it. I got to just relax and hang out and not worry about driving and getting fatigued from that. I could drink while I enjoyed the ride. So it was probably more of my idea, just more like, hey, let's check off an experience. Maybe you might never do again. But at least you get to do it with your friends and with some companions. Yeah.
My sister and I took the train from D.C. to New York. It was fun. We took it up like about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, went and spent the day in New York, came back home. And I could see, I enjoyed the train. It was fun. I could understand that.
So, Mike, obviously you've been quiet because you don't have any experience you weren't on the trip with us. Given everything you heard about our experience in our train ride and all that came with it, would you consider, let's say, a more than 5 hour long train ride in your future?
So it all depends on how much time I have for the trip itself. So if I have time to blow, absolutely. I think that's a good thing, especially with good friends.
Yeah, I think that's what made the time pass.
It brings memories, it brings experiences.
You can put this one up.
You typically wouldn't have like these stories that y'all have that y'all brought back. Those are stories that are going to live on.
Oh, the green
for a long time. Hey, remember when we did this? So absolutely.
But you're talking about the box.
Y'all talked about that yet?
If I was constrained with time,
this is good.
No, I probably.
So I think the other thing that helped with the train decision was we left at 1:45 on a Thursday, and we got to St. Louis at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning on Friday. So we still had a lot of time in the morning time. Like, had the train got there like 4 p.m., probably would have done that. But the fact that we got there so early in the morning on Friday, we had plenty of time to get our stuff, get logistics figured out, go get breakfast, and we weren't rushed to get ready to go to the game that night.
Like you were sleep deprived.
Yeah, we were sleep deprived, and that just kind of came with the territory. Could we have maybe worked out a better sleeping situation? Maybe, sure, whatever. But again, I wouldn't trade the lack of sleep for the fun I had with these guys and shooting the shit on the train. And again, the food was not bad at all for a train, for such a confined environment and like that.
I think the interesting thing though, Travis brought this up, was that Carson ended up getting a burger on the train, and it came in a plastic wrapper, and they put it in the microwave in the plastic wrapper. I thought that was a little odd. But
Same with my stromboli. That was basically a giant hot pocket. So.
I mean,
you know what? Those were good though. I also had one of those.
They were good though.
I had
Anything I had on that train was good.
On bread, and it was not bad. They nuked it for me like that. The beers, I think, were like $7.50.
They were all $7.50. You could buy an Ultra for $7.50, or you could buy not Stardust, what's it called Space Dust for $7.50.
Oh yeah, Russell had a Space Dust on the train.
Hell
yeah!
A lot of some bars you go to, you're gonna pay that much for a beer with that. Yeah. I think a little 50 ml bottle of Jack Daniels, I think, was maybe $8.50. Not the best price, not the worst. I expected maybe to pay more for it, so that experience wasn't bad at all.
That was a good one. I mean, other than the murder van, I think that was good.
The murder van was an experience in itself. Would I want to do it again? No, but I'm glad we got to do that.
I'm glad we survived it.
Yeah, I'm glad we have that experience now.
I'm glad we're here to talk about it. Would I want that experience again? Not really. But if I know I'm going to survive it,
I didn't mention the irony of that when we were in the terminal when we got to Carbondale. You were there too, and me and him were looking at the map, and it had the red veins, kind of like showing the main lines, and then there was the blue ones. The blue ones were like the secondary lines, and we're like, oh, this must be the one we're about to go on. And they had a little blue line from Carbondale to St. Louis.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, these are the murder van lines. You know, we'll know that for the future. Those are the blue veins. Those were the secondary lines, or
They must only
connecting
run,
lines.
They must only run directly on certain days, and like that's just what they had the day we left.
Yeah, because I remember trying to look up a train from here to Houston, and depending upon the day you left, it took you to DC, then Illinois, then Houston. I'm like, wait. It was like 20-something hours. I'm like, no, this is ridiculous.
So I did find, I want to say it was like 9 hours to go from here to Houston, which still sounds like a long time, but like I have no problem sitting on that train again for 9 hours. Like that sounds great.
Yeah, you leave at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You're there mid evening.
But if I can booze all day on that train to Houston, I'll take it. No problem at all.
Just the ability to like get up and walk around like at my leisure.
It totally felt like a cruise. It was just
Yeah. I wish you and Biff could have gone. It was a miraculous time.
Memorable experience.
Lots of stories that time.
A lot of fun.
Again, if you never do it again, you did it, and it's cool. Hopefully the boys got some memories for their first train ride. They had a good time, enjoyed themselves.
We're usually going on like just trips with like just me, Travis, and Carson and Camden. And Camden asked if we can go next year with everybody again. He thought it was just such a fun time. So can we do that again?
And honestly, to shout out to St. Louis, I think everything we did was a good time. The only part that sucked was parking downtown was a pain in the ass because they don't have hardly any free parking off like side streets. They're all metered, which is like if you go downtown in New Orleans, same kind of thing, but you can only buy 2 hours at a time. And we ended up getting a ticket for parking because we were like 4 minutes over the parking time, and the maids were on it. We had a ticket waiting for us 4 minutes after we got there.
Yeah, that was actually right before we went to the Airbnb.
But the breweries were all great, I think.
So how did that work with a rent-a-car? Like they build a rent-a-car place?
I think they maybe build whatever the license plate, and then that got transferred to the rental car place to go back to.
No, I paid the ticket.
Okay, but how they built for who they
Well, no, the license plate on the ticket was our rental car ticket.
Yeah. So they kind of.
If we just like pretended it didn't exist, the rental car company would come back to me and be like, "You had a ticket you didn't pay for. It's linked to our vehicle."
I met 2 of my friends live in St. Louis, and we not randomly, but we ended up running into them at the baseball game on Friday, and they gave us some recommendations for places to go try and look at. One of the places we ended up going to on Sunday, like the Armory, which is like an old like high school gymnasium converted into like a large, not Dave & Buster's in terms of like arcade games everywhere, but they had a couple pickleball courts. They had a teeter-totter, like an adult-sized teeter-totter. They had badminton. They had like Jenga. They had some like football, soccer, like a soccer pool, like billiards, construction table, a bunch of those, and a couple arcades too. But like it's a big open area venue with a couple bars and a pizza place, and maybe another food place. The day before, we went to this place called the Foundry.
That place was awesome.
Which is kind of like St. Rock Market. It's another like open area, open venue, food hall. And there's like maybe 20, 30 food vendors in there and a bar too. And they have live music playing. And you can just kind of walk around to all the stations and get food from wherever you want like that. So all the places we went to were really, really cool. So kudos to St. Louis for being a really cool city that I didn't think we had any kind of preconceptions about.
How are the people?
No, we never really interacted with them, but everybody was kind of just doing their own thing. Like, no one really bothered you because they were just kind of with their group and doing their own thing. Trying to think what else.
I'll give a shout out. You know, I think every time I plan out an itinerary for a trip, you know, Todd will usually throw some kind of oddball thing in there that he ends up finding. Like when we went to Pittsburgh, he found this. What the hell was that place called? Trundle Manor, which was like a house of like this like weird sci-fi
trundle beds.
It was like basically looked like a house of hoarders, but it was like all like sci-fi memorabilia all over this place, and it was a very cool little find. Definitely tourist trappy, but one thing he did find was the St. Louis or the Missouri Miniature Museum, which is basically like this museum of almost like doll houses, and like each one had a specific like design to it. So you had like some of the more memorable ones were like the adult ones, I guess you would call it, where you had
some of these people definitely had some kinks.
A hotel
Understatement.
Hotel room where they had a little girl, but like a girl doll in lingerie, and you had a guy with his in his underwear, like at the end of the bed.
They had a miniature like old timey saloon and like homes from different periods in time, like the Victorian area. Early 67 Southern plantation styles, old like 1930s, 40s homes. The museum was super, super cool. I had no expectations going into it. I was like, all right, well, we'll do it. Maybe not the person that comes to my mind of what to do. When we walked in, and so I was like, damn, this place is really cool. Because like the detail on a lot of the figures in the houses was really awesome. The St. Louis Zoo, even though the downside to the zoo was that a lot of the exhibits, the animals were not out. No one's following.
It was hot.
It was hot, but that was just temperature adjustment, so they weren't really out. But the zoo was free.
Yeah, the zoo is great.
So a Modelo was only $7, so of course I had to get a couple of those.
The margarita I had was fantastic.
Yeah.
I want to ask, how was y'all's arch trip?
No, we did the arch as well.
Y'all did the arch.
Arch was good.
The arch is nice and claustrophobic.
Camden and Carson.
We need to talk about Josh.
Got a little tense on the because like you're in this little pod, and it's technically seats 5, but it's still cramped. Even if you only have like 3 or 4 people, but you get in a little tram, that's what they call it, and you go up. It's like a 4-minute ride up to the top. You get out. You have like 10-15 minutes to like look out the arch, take pictures, look at the city. So I've done the arch 5 times now, including this trip. So
How many times?
Well, now you tell us.
So I knew what to expect. But yeah, you get to the top and you're on this little thing. And it's curved because you're at the top of the arch, right? So you're kind of on this little slanting slope. But you look out, you see the river on one side, you see the city on the other side. And it's great and picturesque and all that. But yeah, the boys were a little startled by it because at one point the train, one of the pods before us, the gate wouldn't open. So they freak out, thinking, oh God, we're stuck. It's like, hey, they probably just screw in with the entrance gate, and that ended up being a problem. So it wasn't an issue at all. But the arch was cool to do. If you've never been, just say, hey, I'm 630 feet up in the air, and like just seeing everything that high up.
And when you get on, it's kind of like Disney World. They ask you how many people are in your party. So we said 8. And the guy checking us in was basically like, well, how do y'all want to split that up? And I was like, well, why don't we take the 5 smallest people, and we'll put us in a pod, and then the 3 bigger guys will go in a pod, so that way we have more room. Well, then when we did that, the guy goes and takes a couple and puts them with Sean, Russell, and Josh.
I feel bad for those people.
This thing was like tiny. Like the pod was like tiny. Like,
Oh, yeah.
we
All 3 of us had our like hunchbacks going on because our heads were totally against the top of this thing.
The pod is probably 3/4 of the size of this table for 4 or 5 people. It was tiny. So claustrophobia was a real thing for.
The door to get in the pod was only 4 feet tall.
Yeah, so I'm sure.
It's like going through a hatch in a submarine.
A little bit to get into the pod like that. But we did the arch, and then we took some photos from like outside the arch, looking over at the top of it. The park that the arch is located in, the national park, is really picturesque and scenic, right off the river. What else did we do? I'm trying to go see anything else.
My favorite in the arch was leaning over in the little windows, taking a picture, and you could see both legs of the arch on either side. I have pictures of like looking this way, and you see that leg, and then the other way.
The park museum / arch museum was pretty cool. They had a lot of like old timey pieces in that.
A lot of wagons.
Wagons everywhere.
They had a nice evolution of wagons
red,
in the
red, like little
Not radio flyers.
radio flyers.
Lewis and Clark wagons.
Oh, okay.
Covered wagons.
Yeah, covered wagons.
Oh,
Then
covered
one
wagon.
called the hand cart, which was the original wagon.
Oh, okay.
So,
So there were ghosts on this tour.
Only in the house.
oh yeah, they all followed us to the house. Just the first night, though. The rest of it, once they realized we're okay people, they left us alone. The first night was bad. Yeah, I don't think we did anything. I think we pretty much mentioned everything we did. I mean, we didn't.
St. Louis lost twice.
Yeah,
Both games Bob went to, they lost.
they fucking lost.
So,
Cubs hit 6 home runs.
So-
They hit 6 home runs in a month. They hit that.
So Bob and Dylan attended the Friday game and the Sunday game. They lost both of
Right.
those. On Saturday, he just decided to watch the doubleheader from a brewery, and
Hyatt.
and while he's enjoying some
Yeah,
beer.
one
and
game they
drunk
won
at
like
the Hyatt.
9-2 or
And
something.
it was a lot cooler. You know.
So he got 2 wins from Four Hands Brewery.
I can say that.
I just want to say I had a great time. I totally enjoyed it.
I looked at the weather the Sunday when we were at the zoo. The high that day was like 96, and that was like the highest it had been in St. Louis in like the whole summer so far. It was
I
like
remember looking at the weather map before we left, and I'm like, man, it's gonna be. The humidity was obviously lower than New Orleans, but yeah, it was. 90,
It still was like really
It was
hot.
still mid 90s the entire.
the
week
Tuesday
we were up
before
there,
we
so it
went,
was
they were
warm.
getting the aftermath of Hurricane Beryl or whatever, and it was like 77.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then when we go, it's 96 degrees. It was like, yeah.
Well, we did find 3 good breweries while we were there. We had Urban Chestnut,
Oh, yes.
Four Hands, and then Heavy Riff. Yeah, I felt like all of them
Drinking
were
heavy
very
riff
good.
right now.
Heavy riff.
Yeah,
It's very
the
good.
Brewers didn't disappoint.
almost
They
done.
all kind of lived up to the hype that I saw online with people talking about it, like things to do at Brewers to go to. They all lived to have some great beers from them. You guys drink more beers than I did. Most because I was driving, and 2, I was only kind of doing specific beers to try out. But everything we had, I think, was really good. The food at the brewery at every brewery was also very good too.
Yeah, Heavy Riff really. I mean,
Heavy
the
Riff had like a
barbecue,
full barbecue
barbecue
menu.
at Heavy Riff was great. But while I mentioned Heavy Riff, I think one of the favorite beers I think I've ever had in my travels is the one Russell and Biff are drinking right now. Is the Heavy Riff Love Gun, which is it's a vanilla cream ale or vanilla blonde cream ale.
It's phenomenal. Like it's definitely the standout of the trip by far. A close second is they used this as a base and they added like blood orange to it. It was like a dreamsicle,
Ooh.
and that was like ridiculously
Wow.
good.
Okay.
But yeah, that was the 3rd brewery we went to,
Yeah,
and
Heavy Riff,
I had such a good time at the first 2. I wasn't expecting too much out of the other ones,
I agree with
but
that.
it got like significantly better as we were going on.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Heavy Riff was great.
The thing that
I thought they were all
the
good.
things about Four Hands and Chestnut, was Urban Chestnut, was just the space of it. Like they were just very spacious, and you were able to kind of spread out. Urban Chestnut was just set up like a German beer hall. I mean, they had the long tables.
Four Hands had the OG arcade machines of Mortal Kombat 2 and
That was
NBA
fun.
Jam.
Yeah, I liked how Four Hands had the upstairs and
And Donkey
you
Kong,
were able
I
to get
forgot
on
that.
that big table right in the center. Bob was able to watch his baseball.
Yeah.
There were a lot of at least had arcade games around. The kids were able to enjoy themselves with that. So, and very good breweries in the experience from St.
Well,
Louis.
I enjoyed the Chestnut. That was the one where I got a beer that was it was aged with the in bourbon.
Yeah.
The bourbon
The bourbon
barrels.
barrels.
Yeah. It was awesome. It's,
My
I don't think
dog's
we-
gonna win the Bourbon Bowl.
We didn't mention it, but we also did the Cardinals
Remember
Hall
that
of Fame
time?
tour, and that was a pretty cool because obviously I was geeked up about that. I got to put on obviously with the glove, but I got to put on like, the World Series rings and hold one of the bats from one of the players from back in
It
the
was
day.
Ozzy's back.
Mark
Ozzy
McGuire.
Smith's bat.
They trusted you.
So
There's a guy there, and you put
They
on
put
glove.
like little like clear latex gloves on, just so smart.
And then you got to stroke it up and down.
Yeah, but they let you. They have 2 rings and a bunch of bats, and they let you hold and take a picture with like that. So I got my photo with those. You could go into like this one part and do like your personalized like Hall of Fame bust. So they would take your photo, and then you could like type in like info about yourself, like, hey, my name is this, I played this position in the field, and do a little quick little 2-word adjective about yourself, and then take a photo, like a photo booth kind of thing, and you could get it emailed to you, and they had a picture printed or whatever
Hall of Fame plaque.
of your Hall of Fame plaque, whatever. Sounds pretty cool. But we kind of alluded to it that some of the guys brought back beer from a couple of the breweries. So I guess we'll segue to now what's everybody drinking tonight. Mike, you haven't gotten to speak a whole lot because obviously you went on a trip with us, but let's let you go first and talk about what you're drinking tonight.
I'm talking about that shitty ass pickle beer.
Tell us about that.
Drinking this.
So I started off by drinking this sour pickle beer made
Oh, it's
by
gross.
It's still pretty full.
Best Made from Texas,
Super sour.
Fort Worth, Texas. It is very fucking pickly.
And kind of bad.
So
I like pickles.
it's just like Texacraft. The
The
vodka,
pickle juice is like over the pickle
Shot.
smell. It's like overwhelming.
It's
with the
just like that, but
It's like
in
a
beer.
pickled jizz in a beer. That's what
In a
this
beer.
tastes.
It doesn't taste like beer, it just tastes like pickle juice.
Yeah, so it's from a company called Martin House, which I think is actually in Houston. And if you've ever been there,
It says Fort Worth,
they
Texas.
make, might be distributed for that, but they
Same
make
thing.
a lot of really off the wall sours and flavored beers. And it's not everybody's cup of tea. I've tried it before, and it's got to be one of the things you got to be into whatever that flavor is, because their beers are just off the wall.
Urine and pickle.
I'm quite offended by this logo here. I mean, it's it's like a little Asian girl in a can.
My first sip, I was like, oh, like,
A culturally appropriated Asian girl.
What do you drink
first
now?
sip was very good.
No.
But then after that,
I vehemently
I
disagree.
had one and I was like,
I
oh,
couldn't finish.
I can't even
Notice
stomach
we
this.
have 2 open
Give the
cans
guy
on
a
the
chance,
table.
man. Give the guy a
Sorry, I'm
chance.
sorry, Mike.
And I have 4 at home. Figure out, should I just pour them down the
You
drain?
should
But it-
beer batter
probably-
some fish with it.
well, I was telling Patrick,
Yeah,
if
it's
I
not
mix
bad
a little
idea. Definitely
vodka,
don't go down the drain.
if I mix a little vodka,
Can we
with
turn
it,
the air on?
It is a little warm.
It is hot, man.
It'll
I'm
taste.
sweating like mad.
It tastes like Texacrat.
It's all Patrick that wants to turn it
I know. Patrick's in the bathroom.
So what
let's
are you
leave it on while
drinking?
he's in the bathroom.
So what are you drinking right now, Mike?
because it is. It's
now
just at 80.
I am
So.
drinking.
Yeah,
Sam
it's
Adams
hot. I'm
Boston
sweating.
Lager, and pretty good.
We'll just deal with the hum.
Food for all balls.
I mean, I started the night with Chafunktiver and Old 504. I brought a growler back. Actually, Travis brought it back for me when he went to Chafunkta Brewery. I
They're
haven't
still
opened-
listening. They're diehard fans. I'm sorry.
I haven't opened it yet, but I opened it tonight. It's one of my favorite local beers. If you're a local beer, top 5, it was in there.
Sorry for interrupting. Sorry.
No, it's okay. And currently I'm drinking Shiner Prickly Pear
Prickly
from
pear.
Spitzel Brewery in Shiner, Texas. Compliments of Sean.
Shiner is
Little
always top notch.
They make that
it's a little
too.
fruity, but it's really good.
All
Shiner
their
never
beers are good.
They're
disappoints.
so good.
We know Bob loves him some Shiner.
Yes.
Yes,
But
on tap.
I don't think I've had a bad Shiner beer yet.
Shiner Bach, not Shiner.
Well, he doesn't explore. Dad doesn't explore the world of craft beer too much.
Bob's just stuck
I
on
did.
He's stuck on Bush
St.
bottle.
Louis.
Keystone Nash.
Some
Now,
good
now,
beer.
now, what I want to
What-
know
what
is, did
about
you write
Milwaukee's
your
best?
while you were back to St. Louis? Did you write your complaint about them not bottling Bush beer anymore while you were in
He was
Anaheim?
too busy trying the good beers at Urban Chestnut and Four
That's
Hand.
right.
He said,
Too
"Whoa!"
busy
He said,
getting
"Well, what
there.
is this? I actually discovered some good beers. Bourbon
What is
Valley.
Bush?
This shit's better than what I did.
What did I used to drink?
It's crap I used to drink.
That 10% beer at the Chestnut place. The 10% with they brewed it in the whiskeys barrels.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Oh, shit. I shouldn't have brought that up. I'm sorry.
Them whiskey barrels. Holy shit.
Me and August, I'll go for both of us. We're both shared an empty now bottle of Jim Beam.
Good old plastic
And
bottle
now we're
of Jim
drinking
Beam.
Kraken. But I had one of Russell's Love Guns from Heavy Riff Brewing. And not only is it a great, excellent vanilla beer, but I love the can. Like
The whole place,
the whole thing's awesome. Yeah, like as a musician,
You see, Ronnie, his dick is the gun.
I mean, there's a Marshall stack on the can. Like it's not a Marshall stack, but it's their own like version of it. I don't know if that means anything to somebody, but it's a great beer. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Glad I can enjoy it with anybody.
Yes.
Anybody else?
I
wanna
can
drink
say
by
I'm
myself.
glad that I brought those home
I'm glad they-
unscathed from
I mean,
St.
I'm glad
Louis.
they
and
Sean
mine.
here.
smuggled them in his ass.
Yeah.
Through the
Thank you,
TSA.
Southwest Airlines, for bringing that home and not opening my suitcase and, confiscating them or bursting them all over my clothes.
Sorry, Pat. We had to turn the AC on. It was getting hot, man.
It's reading 80 degrees.
Russell,
in
do
here.
you want to piggyback off of
I
that?
would say I'll go next. I'm also drinking the Love Gun, and like we were saying, it's a phenomenal beer. But tonight I actually started at a tequila tasting, and I've had a lot of tequila tonight. It's been a good night.
Unlike Patrick, Russell got to drink the
I
tequila.
have to confess, I've had a little bit of tequila tonight.
So it was Magenta tequila, which we had a sommelier who very
It's good.
knew her wine stuff, but she also decided that she wanted to start looking into tequila, do this class at Total Wine, and we tried 5 different tequilas, Blanco, High Proof Blanco, Repo, Anejo, and a Cristalino, and they were all just phenomenal, super easy to drink, relatively reasonably priced. The Blanco was like $42, the nice like high-end Anejo was like $160. But yeah, I would definitely drink that tequila again. It was phenomenal. It was really easy to drink. I didn't need ice or anything. Just neat is phenomenal.
No mezcal.
They didn't have mezcal.
Damn it.
Yeah, I like me some mezcal. I've had the opportunity to go to El Paso and had some amazing mezcal over
Yes.
Oh, you went to El Paso for dinner?
there. Like actual El Paso.
Oh, like El Paso.
Yeah.
El Paso, like the city.
The city, not the Mexican
Not the
establishment
chain
that pops
restaurant,
up
the
everywhere.
city. Yeah.
Yeah, mad props to Heavy Rift. I think that was probably my favorite brewery that we went to.
I'd like to have gone. It looks like a fun place.
Well, I started out with actually Chafunka Old 504 with Todd, and then I switched to Cajun Fire Honey Ale, which is something my wife actually bought, and I don't guess she really liked it because it's been sitting in my kegerator for a while, but it's actually pretty good. Like I don't mind it. Some of the stuff she buys, she'll buy because it's like a sweet dessert beer or whatnot, and then end up not liking it, and I'll drink it. But this one I really don't mind. It's actually pretty good. And then I also took one of her Abita Blueberry beers. So I have that one.
Blueberry.
And this one's actually very good. Like
Sean, you have blueberry.
I have those in my fridge right now.
I've made the comparison of this Abita Blueberry to the Sweetwater Blue, which are both very
Not as
good.
good as the cream
So
Yeah.
that's what I'm drinking tonight.
So what the hell is a blueberry beer? How do you?
It's a
Would you like
beer
I'd like
Like
to
to
sip it.
with blueberry in it.
No, he's
we
drinking
we call it
Kraken.
blueberry beer.
Dad's releasing
What, I mean, a blue-
Dad's releasing the Kraken
Bob
right
is
now.
not, Bob is not mixing his
He
alcohol.
put berries in a beer.
You take beer
It's very good.
and you put blueberries in it.
And you, like some guy steps his
And
foot
it's-
in your beer.
And it tastes good.
Somebody puts their somebody puts their bare foot in your beer, and that's just blueberries.
There's a big bucket of beer, and then they get in a big old thing of blueberries and stomp on them, and it just drains into the beer.
Oh yeah.
That's exactly how
That's
it's
exactly how it's made.
That is how it's done.
Is that how they make
Have any
barefoot
fresh
wine?
fruit beer by chance?
Yes. Barefoot wine.
All right, so real quick,
the video of the lady falling off the thing.
I
you
feel
know,
like we're winding up. I want to, while my dad's here, he's the one that gave me the Ben McDonald viewpoint that he had a shitty pro career. So I want him to explain why Ben McDonald, Todd's favorite Oriole announcer / pitcher,
Commentator.
had a shitty pro career.
That's something that's
Is it okay? Oh, did you have to go? I'm sorry.
Real
Pat.
quick,
I'm
drinking-
sorry.
I'm drinking Jack Bonded and Coke. That's all.
I'm sorry. Pat.
Carry on.
I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead, go
Pat.
ahead and go ahead.
I have cans.
Okay, sorry.
You got it.
I Jim beamed my way into this.
Wait your turn, Jim.
Sean has many things to talk about. I'm
Well,
sorry. I just wanted to clear the
I
air.
thought I heard when I was taking a piss that Todd mentioned the Shiner prickly pear. Yep. From the
They
Shiner
both
Brewing.
have one.
Yes. Thank you, Patrick, for picking these up in
And
Baton
Sean's
Rouge.
wearing a green jelly shirt, by the way.
I
for
am.
all the green jelly fans. Okay.
Yeah. Green Jello.
My dad's about to pass out over it.
They like to correct you that even though the Y with the little dots still is pronounced Green Jello. That's why they did that.
Excuse me.
I'm just saying.
Green
So we
jelly.
go into that show.
Yes.
Or like,
Green jelly.
Southport.
You gonna go?
I might.
Let's go. Let's do
If
it.
you've never been, it's worth it.
It's a friggin' shit show, but it's
only know
Just be
amazing.
one
prepared.
song.
Just be prepared to get on stage.
Oh,
Because like
It's either that or go see Silver Sun Pickups with somebody that we used to know, like the song, you know.
somebody that
Now you're just somebody that I used to know. Okay. Anyway.
yeah.
Anyways, so
Good for
I
your
already down 2 pints that I brought back from St. Louis. They made it home in my check bag unscathed. Thank you, Southwest Airlines, for not being dicks.
with time.
And they're both from Four Hands Brewing. Not that the other ones are bad. I liked Urban Chestnut. I really liked Urban Chestnut's grapefruit. What is it? Not growler. What the hell is it called? Rambler. Grapefruit.
Rattler.
Radler. Grapefruit Radler. And I have had that at the Armory.
Rattler.
Yep. No, there was a D in this one, not Rattler. But anyway, yeah, and Heavy Riff. I like the Love Gun too. But anyway, Four Hands. I drank the chocolate milk stout with the lovely cow on the can here.
Pretty cool can.
And for a stout, it's pretty smooth. It's pretty light. It's only 5.5%. And I'm not a big stout or porter or dark beer fan, but it's very easy to drink. Every single one I've had, I down it in like 5 minutes. And also had a Mango Fantasy, spelled with PH Annecy.
PH Annecy.
PHAT. Yeah, it's a blonde ale with mango, and I can attest to the mango Dorito chips that we're eating here too. I don't know why I like mango so much, but yeah, it's not as it's weird to say that it's not as good as the milk stout. It's some different kind of beers, but I definitely, if I had to buy one again, I'd buy the milk stout over the Mango Fantasy. But so anyway, yeah, I got a nice array of chocolate milk and fruit that I'm drinking.
All right. Can we go to my point now?
Yeah, Bob.
Let's hear about Ben McDonald.
Let's
I'm
hear it.
sorry.
We've never heard about him on the pod
Let's hear it,
before.
Bob.
All right, so I want to know, because my dad's the reason I have this viewpoint, because he said he had a really shitty pro career, not in so many words, but he said he didn't do well as a pro, and that's what I said that, and then Todd took major offense to that on the pod.
But I see he was totally awesome in college.
That took that
Well,
personal.
I was going to say, I don't.
Oh,
he
this
did
is
not
going to be a
have-
love fest
He
between
did not
these two.
have
Watch
a.
this.
He did not have a great pro career, but it was commendable.
Slightly above average.
It was slightly above average.
But he was way better in college.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
He was
I
like,
think he's a
He's
great-
no Paul Skeens.
I think he's.
no, he was king.
In
Before
college.
Skeens came along.
In
But
college.
I think he's a great commentator.
I don't disagree with
He's
that.
a great commentator.
Yeah.
No, I don't disagree
Oh,
with
yeah.
that. I've never disagreed with that.
So was
No,
Tony
I like
Romo.
that. He
How
was
was that?
Tony Romo was an excellent commentator,
I
but he
like
botched
that.
he botched field goals and
Tony Romo was a great commentator.
still is.
Now, one thing
But-
we were at Alex Box last weekend, and
Oh, really?
Ben McDonald's number is retired for LSU. I took a picture of it. I think I
Oh.
might have sent it to you guys. I hope it did.
I just want to. I'm just telling you, this is where it came from. I love how y'all totally just took the gloves off and kissed. But
Why
Love
the negativity about Ben
Kiss.
McDonald though?
Why is who?
Why the negativity on Ben McDonald there, Bob?
I've done against him. It's just that he ain't
maybe I just wasn't listening.
Can I tell you this? He ain't Paul Skeens.
It's good.
That some bitch is great.
Paul Skeens, he's got
Unbelievable.
It's
Paul
good.
Skeens is God.
He brought it over.
Shit, he pitched 8 in the third inning
As
against
a
the
rookie, he started in the All-Star game. He's going to win the Rookie of the Year. He might even win the Cy
He
Young.
lost his first game, but he pitched 8 in the third innings. And the reason he lost the game,
Why are you
the
getting so
coach didn't
aggressive?
pull him.
There we go.
The coach didn't pull him in the ninth.
Hold it
inning.
back.
Hold
Hold
it
it back. You got the Jim Beam in
I
him.
was just complimenting the man, and you like getting all
No,
aggressive
no,
with me.
I'm not knocking you.
He's
I'm
knocking
just
Ben
saying,
McDonald. Is who he's knocking.
Look like you're big McDonald angst.
Excellent commentator. Nothing on his commentating
You saw the
game.
game. You saw the game. I saw.
No, I saw most of it. I was
He
falling.
pitched. I mean, I don't know.
No, he.
Ben
I'm just
McDonald's
saying,
commentary is like a Paul Skeens mustache.
Yes. Like
Excellent.
in Pittsburgh, you know, the mustache.
Anyway, I just had to bring that up with him here because that's where my viewpoint of Ben McDonald's negativity came from.
So
It
this
was from this man
negativity
right
came
here.
from Bob. So obviously, Bob, you had
Oh, wait,
you
wait.
dogged
I
him
was
back.
negative on the.
Well, Ben McDonald's pro career.
No, yeah.
See the trick. You didn't do shit. There you go.
You gotta give it to.
Well, he was on the
He
Orioles.
was also on a really bad Orioles team.
Right.
At a bad time. Well, I mean, your pitcher can't make runs. You know.
Skeens is on a pretty shitty team, but they're close.
The Pirates are getting better though.
They're close.
Yeah.
Is it solely because of him?
Huh?
Is it solely because of him?
A little bit. I mean, he's pitching well.
I mean, every time he pitches, he increases their chance to win. But they got some hitters on that team too.
No,
They
they
also got the guy Heller too.
they got my
Really good.
what's that? McCutcheon? What's the
Yeah.
who's that? They
Ryan,
got
Ryan Reynolds is the
what's
That's
the
it.
the best
Ryan
player right now.
yeah
What's
Left
his name?
hitter,
Yeah.
switch hitter.
yeah Ryan Reynolds from Deadpool.
That's that Deadpool guy.
Speaking of Deadpool,
Oh, I
Yeah,
have,
they
I have
also
comments
got-
about
that
that.
guy
Did
Keller
you
is
watch it
really
yet?
the new
I
one.
mean, Skeens
What,
is
there's a new one, three?
unbelievable.
It's out.
Eight,
shit, I
nine,
haven't seen it
he
yet.
pitched.
I saw the first
Finally pitched in the eighth inning.
Sounds like Bob is
against-
writing a
Saw
love
the
letter.
I saw. I thought you were
He
talking
pitched
about. I
against
didn't
the
know there
Cardinals
was
the other
three.
night, and he had a no hit. He didn't have a no hitter,
They had
but
to
two
lose.
hitter going into the eighth inning.
Yeah, I
Still
saw
throwing
what y'all were
100.
saying about it. Like, don't
100
read up
miles.
on it or
Yeah,
anything.
it's
Well, the
And
second
I'm
one
a
had
Cardinal
me,
fan.
like
And he's a
stitches.
Pittsburgh guy.
When I saw it in
I said,
theaters, like
Jesus.
I was dying from the first
He's good.
jump.
Are you worried he's
The
gonna
first
blow
one
his
was
elbow
good
out?
too. The second one,
I'm
feel
I'm
like
worried
it
about
was
that.
personally.
I mean,
The third one even better.
I hope he does. It look,
Yeah.
but it looks
Todd
like
didn't
right
even
now
laugh.
he's not hurting himself.
Yeah, I
6
gotta
foot
see it.
something, 245, 6'6".
I love it. I love that guy. All right, so I got my beef out.
Of what?
Obviously,
Ben
Dad
McDonald.
doesn't believe in Ben McDonald's pro career, so
He doesn't believe in it. It didn't happen.
it didn't happen. It's fake news. Anyway,
Big news.
but he's a hell of a commentator.
Some
I've
people,
never
at, some
taken
people
off
at this table
Yes.
believe in it. If it's one person.
His best commentator.
Hands
No,
down.
no, nothing off his
Baddest dude
commentating
on the
game.
planet.
Second baddest dude.
That's
Second
Todd.
baddest. dude.
Second baddest.
Second
man
baddest
on the planet.
dude.
That's Mitchell Sanford.
Behind a Southeastern Conference right fielder.
Who was hit of the year.
Oh, everybody, listen. Step back. The baddest dude on the planet is about to be up. Second best hitter in Southeastern Conference. Going to kill it.
I thought it was the Southland Conference.
Same difference.
Yeah, Southeastern Conference is SEC.
Some conferences not winning the World Series.
It's the Sun Belt.
Sunbelt.
Sunbelt, Fun Belt.
UNO used to be Sunbelt.
They need to do like
Eric
the.
Orsi, actually,
All right, what's next,
fits
Travis?
Really well with it.
Well, this is one of the topic of sports. We saw two big NFL quarterbacks sign some pretty big extensions
Tua?
today.
Tua.
Started with Tua on the Dolphins, and actually right before our pod started, we got the notification that Jordan Love signed a 4-year extension with the Green Bay Packers. So, does anybody have any opinions on this?
First round
We're
pick.
gonna go with our resident sports expert Russell over here.
Tua, yes. Love, no.
First round pick,
is
Jordan Love for the Hitchens group.
Well, I think that what does it mean for who's the next guy up? Because you have all these big contracts going out. Patrick mentioned Dak Prescott kind of waiting in the wings for his extension. Brock Purdy is waiting for his extension. So, just wondering who's next, you know?
I think everybody freaks out about the numbers some of these quarterbacks are getting, how they end up being the highest paid quarterback in the history of the game until the next quarterback gets
Yep.
his deal. And that's just the way the position in the NFL is these days. Like every quarterback that's next to get his deal is going to be the highest paid for the most part, within reason. Obviously, if
Remember
you're
when like 100 million was like, oh my god. It was
And
like,
then
now
Drew
it's,
Brees hit 160.
now
so,
it's
yeah.
200 million. And
Brock
you know,
Purdy
he's-
obviously is not going to get $55 million a year. He's not that level
guy.
quarterback. He might get in the 30, 40 range, but he won't.
He
be
only
paid,
has like 9 weapons. You know.
He won't be paid on that level. But all these elite
It's
quarterbacks.
a shame he's never been paid with for what he does.
Trevor
I'm
Lawrence
sorry.
got what?
That guy does a good job.
50-something million a year.
Said he spreads it out to all the studs. I'm sorry. I think Brock Purdy.
I did just see
He
a
deserves
replay
his
of
money.
of last year's Super Bowl, and they show in San Francisco, and they show all the All Pros that Brandon Ayuk, Kittle, McCaffrey,
Right.
and then the only one that's not an All Pro in that lineup was Deebo Samuel. So, oh yeah, he's just a schlub.
Yeah, we
right?
drafted him.
You know, he was only amazing a year or two
He's a
before
shit
that.
bird.
So the
He's a
dude's
shit
got
bird.
weapons.
Yeah, he
all
did great
around
on our fantasy team.
this year.
No, like 2 years
That's
ago.
where this is coming from. Bob likes Purdy because Debo didn't do well on his fantasy team.
No,
No, he likes Purdy because
I think Purdy's done a good job.
I agree with
I agree. I think he deserves to be paid.
I mean,
he won't be
deserves-
paid like the upper echelon of the quarterback, but he deserves to be paid. Like it's one thing if you like came in and yes, you have all these weapons and you played well, but he has shown that he is a well above average quarterback. Just because he was drafted last means nothing.
Tom Brady was a scrub.
Prescott was drafted in the 4th round. He is not a 4th round talent quarterback. That's just where he landed. He plays like an elite level quarterback. Maybe not.
Hell yeah.
5,
Yeah.
We know he did.
But say
Sorry.
top 10 to top 15, he's in that range for sure, and he deserves to be paid like that. His problem is the Cowboys keep pushing his contract deal further and further down the road, which is going to just end up costing them more money. So Dak's going to get paid and going to probably be the first probably $60 million a year quarterback, and some of that is just because the Cowboys keep waiting and waiting to do his deal, and all these other quarterbacks are getting their deals, and he's theoretically better than those quarterbacks. So
I think Dak's fantastic.
Jerry Jones
He's a
shot
hell of a
shot
fantasy
it down.
There's two biased Mississippi State fans at the table here, so I think Dak is
He's wearing.
fantastic, too.
Someone's wearing a Mississippi
Yeah, but
State
Dak
shirt
pulled
right
us-
now.
Dak, he pulled us out last year.
I know, thanks to Sean dropping him in the 3rd
Yeah,
game.
good Shaw got rid of him.
Hey,
And I
there's
picked him up.
two of us.
There's
at
2
the
of us
table.
at the table. All right, Sean and
At
Patrick.
the bye week, yeah, we dropped that.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
maxing
Y'all
out-
still finished
It's about
second,
it.
so
He was
yeah.
maxing out at about 25 points. I'm like, yeah, that's
We
his,
need
that's
a
his
shot.
ceiling.
We
can
even
cut
joked.
ties
We
with
even
him.
joked at Christmas time. I was like, Sean, you don't have to get any of us a Christmas present. You already gave us Dak Prescott.
So Bob, are you going with Dak Prescott again in this year's fantasy?
First round.
First round pick, Dak Prescott.
No, we want someone when we get hurt. I think we should get the Atlanta running back.
Sounds like
Bijan?
Bob said or Bijan.
Because I think
He's gonna
I
break
think
an ankle
We
week
need
2,
him.
yeah.
We need him to twist an ACL or something. So I mean,
y'all
it's
should-
good
We
for the
have 9
Saints.
teams or
It's
10
good for the
teams?
Saints.
Right now we only have 9.
9. So
So
I've been doing it
speaking
on.
of that in fantasy,
Okay, fantasy.
Mike, what are the chances you might be coming back to our league? And
Come on, Mike.
if you need a running mate, there's a gentleman across the table who may not know a lot about fantasy football or sports in general.
But he will.
I've already teed up people to help me.
But he might be a
Sit at
good
the table, sit at
teammate
the
to have
table.
with you.
I don't know, man. It's slim. It's slim
no.
to none. But yeah, if I were to come back and Russell would, want
Come
to be
on,
my
come on,
team,
guys.
I would
Make it 10.
absolutely invite him and welcome him on my team. But just know that I've had very, very bad luck through the.
That didn't
What if
stop.
I'm the
us.
good luck
All
charm?
right.
It's about
No more
the
bad luck than we had.
There's 2 people sitting in this room that have finished
sucked-
last or
we
second
sucked
to
for
last almost
7
every
years.
season. We had one good season that was last year, and now we're picking 8th, so we're
So
screwed.
what do y'all do for who loses?
Nothing.
No,
we don't have to sit at
we don't- we
Waffle
don't
House
do
for 24
You
punishment.
get
hours.
rewarded with the first pick next year.
It's
It's a good thing. It's a book.
Believe me, it's a fun thing. It's a great thing.
I
And
have,
the
I have,
draft
I have a
day-
suggestion
You
of
can't
why.
The draft
Oh, 'cause
party
he-
is more fun than the actual league.
The draft party has become one of the best days of the year on the calendar.
But still,
It's like
yeah.
it's
Yeah,
like
easy.
taking a train to St. Louis. It's about the
we
experience.
sucked the first
With
3
the
years.
friends.
We didn't get screwed.
No, not first
Close
3,
enough.
like first like
I
6.
think we
6
all
years.
agree that
But
the draft
they,
is the best part of the draft.
they're not going to screw us. We screwed ourselves.
We have a
Great
K,
group of
we
guys.
have swimming.
Yeah, no,
Then we do the
look,
draft.
I look
Big
on
old
the-
sausage
on the
fest
schedule,
in the
on my
pool.
schedule, on my calendar,
I'm in.
off that
Big
day.
sausage fest.
So,
Maury makes an appearance.
it's
Morris
K,
makes an
20
appearance.
barbecue, pool.
So, it's looking I will be
draft.
there, whether I'm on a team or not. I guess.
Well,
I think he should be because I don't want 9 teams. I guess 9 teams is more more athletes for the rest of us.
So would you be interested?
Yeah, like I said, I've already put feelers out there. Like, yo, I don't know dick about football, but I got
could
some
probably-
people that can help me draft a
Just
team.
guess.
Maybe y'all could triple
It'd
team.
almost be
They
more-
would
We'll
probably
advantage
win the
from
league.
last year.
These guys are not going to screw you.
I don't know about that.
Patrick might.
No, they won't.
No,
Out for the kill.
I mean, if you said it,
he gave us Dak
I'm
Prescott,
not
so
gonna-
no,
I'm not
he's
gonna
not going to
I'm
screw.
not going to intentionally give you bad advice.
Donation.
What you
Can't
do,
guarantee
you
it's gonna work.
are.
I would do my
you are-
research. Like, I wouldn't go in blind.
You would figure it out. It's not that hard.
Do your research. You thought his name was Tom Levine. Your research is going to be.
There
awesome.
wasn't a phonetic pronunciation next to it.
He's just reading, okay?
Just let him read,
Russell,
okay?
please join the league and give us your donation. Okay. And we'll work with it.
We'll figure
You know
it out
what?
from there.
He
Yes.
read that name like
I'm in,
Michael.
and I'm in it to win it.
hey,
Okay.
he read that name like we all said Hermione until we saw the first Harry Potter movie, and it's like, oh, Hermione,
Hermione.
Fair point.
I thought it was her. Oh.
Now, real quick,
I thought it was
quick,
heroin. Yeah.
while my dad's here, I wanted to talk about
It's hemorrhoids.
the college football, the leaving of Nick Saban from the college football, and what that means to my dad on Saturdays.
Bob.
Do you want to comment on Nick Saban not coaching anymore?
I think he figured. Honestly, I think he figured out he can't do the portal.
Yeah,
He just
the portal.
the portal.
No, Travis.
What did he say?
He said he can't do porn.
No, it ain't portal.
Saban's a stallion. He could definitely.
I'm sure there's
Saban could coach.
there's a kink for it somewhere.
Stop looking up, setting them up an OnlyFans.
Saban's probably he's my most favorite coach ever, college coach. But I think the portal caught up with it. I mean, you can't control
It's
it.
not the same as his old school recruiting ways, you know. I know. But he's also
Well, I
like
think
he's older.
Saban was the best coach.
that?
One of the best, next to Bear Bryant. Best coach.
Yeah.
Todd, don't you think?
They're drinking the 3C
Bear, I mean, next to Bear Bryant.
Yeah, Saban's great.
That's actually.
Todd.
I do think the portal is ruining.
I think it is.
Still waiting for them to win.
Tommy Tanks.
It's called
I mean,
the beer.
Just look at the end of college baseball season. You had the head coach of Coastal Carolina.
I just want the can.
Going off the media how he already lost like 3 or 4 players to bigger
Right.
schools. So he's just saying, how can he compete with the SEC? How can he compete with the?
Well, they like to brag about what schemes being from LSU. It's just the portal got in there.
Yeah, he was.
And I don't blame,
Air
I'm not
Force.
blaming
Air
LSU for getting in there.
I think they need to. I think they need to make it to where you can only transfer one time.
I think it is
I don't see a
that.
Because I
percentage.
mean, some of these dudes are just bouncing from college to college to college. They need, you know.
I thought it was just once
Sunny
now,
Ale?
or no?
Sunny
It's
Ale.
not?
They did it as many times.
Really?
You want
Patrick.
a Sunny Ale?
For the portal, is it you can transfer as many times as you want, right? It's not just one time.
Once per year, yes.
Yeah.
But yes, you can theoretically
it's
transfer
insane.
Once
every
you do
year if you
your
want.
year, you stop for a year.
And I mean, I have different feelings about the portal. It's good and bad, right?
I think
agree.
it's.
Whether
I think
you
it's good when a coach leaves.
Well, that's what I think. I said, fuck the coaches. They let them all the time.
Well, look,
You know,
so talking about baseball, look at the Texas A&M coach. He was talking about how, I'm dedicated to Texas A&M. I give my life and I put my blood, sweat, and tears into this program, and I'm working on building this and that. The next day, he left to go take the Texas job. So
You mean like
Yeah.
Brian Kelly?
yeah, so you have coaches that can freely leave whenever they want after a year or two, however the case may be.
Yeah.
The players get to do it now as well, and so
Yeah.
though it
Yeah.
sucks in a lot of ways because you have so much instability with rosters, and it's about money for them, but it's always been about money for the coaches too. So it's a bit more of a level playing field, coach versus player.
I think it's killing basketball.
It's hurting everything.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
hurting everything. I won't deny that. I'm all cool with the players having the ability to move around and choose a destination just like you would at work. You're free to leave your job whenever you want, and that's
Yeah.
okay. The coaches have been able to do it. Now the players are able to do it. But yes, there is a negative side to it as well, and it's gonna take probably some level of regulation to get this NIL and transfer portal thing into a bit less of a chaotic situation. But they should be allowed to do it just
they'll
like
figure
we
it
can
out.
all leave our jobs and whatnot.
Yeah. Well,
You know, the one other thing I had on the agenda today, in sports, is the Olympics are started. Is anybody interested in particular events at the Olympics?
Nope. I've been following soccer. That's about it. The women won 3-0. The men lost 3-0.
About women's beach
Because the men suck.
anybody?
The two aren't still playing, are they? I forget their name. Didn't one of them retire? The two that won it 4 or 5 years in a row.
What? Soccer or volleyball?
Volleyball, sorry.
May and Walsh.
Yeah.
They were out in the last Olympics.
I'm kind of interested to see how the men's super
One of the,
team in basketball does.
One of the women's
they got a good
volleyball
team.
players is Mount Carmel.
Because they
Yeah,
pulled
have
all the all
They have a duo
stars
from
together.
LSU that's competing. They've been talking about them on the
Well,
news.
I want to say they played South Sudan, and that was like a very, very close game, which it shouldn't
It
have
was a
been.
LeBron layup that won the game.
Yeah, they
Well,
keep,
Kevin
they keep
Durant
cutting it
wasn't
close.
playing yet, so
They dick around for 40 minutes, and then it's like, oh, 2 minutes left. Let's make it happen.
This year, there's more NBA players playing for other teams than there has ever been.
And what's weird to see
I
is
enjoy the boxing.
Player.
Boxing.
yeah, Dad loves the boxing.
I think that just goes to the quality of the International Basketball Association and leagues, that they're getting players. Like South Sudan has a couple NBA players on it, and Luol Deng, a former NBA player, is their coach. And look at Serbia with Jokic and some other players, in France. France has some really good teams, players.
Yeah, France does.
A lot of countries produce really good basketball players, and more of them are getting opportunities to play in the NBA, and they're thriving. And yeah, the competition is getting harder for the U.S. The U.S. should still win because they have the best of the best in theory. So it's all about the mesh and how well they fit and play well together. But they're going to be tested. They're not. This isn't like 1992 when the Dream Team.
No,
was
there was no European.
Yeah.
That's what brought basketball to the world, basically.
But now you
That
have
was
a lot
before
of,
Tony Kukoc.
you have a lot of really good
Croatians,
American-born USA players, but you have so many good European and foreign country players that the rising tide is
Like Luka.
everyone
Is,
can compete to one degree.
is Valanciunas playing for Lithuania?
Valanciunas ain't playing for the Pelicans.
Valanciunas is playing for the Washington shitholes.
Definitely though, Travis.
I wonder what he's doing with his house. I'm gonna see if I can get it.
It's for sale.
It's
1.4 mil.
Better than the Winter Olympics.
What's your
Blasphemy.
favorite
I don't know.
Olympic sport for summer?
Believe it or not, swimming.
I do like the swimming
really
events.
enjoy the
Swimming? You
competitiveness
like swimming?
Yeah, it's like
of swimming.
diving. I like diving. I like
I
diving
like
better.
gymnastics.
I like
I'm gonna disagree with Mike on this. I like the Winter Olympics better. Because
Really? Because of hockey.
Hockey is involved, and I can get
Really?
really into the
But what
Olympic hockey.
about fencing, man? I mean,
That's winter.
I mean, the Winter Olympics have curling. I mean, come
I
on.
don't
No.
like
So wait, we now have what, breakdancing being added to the mix? Really looking forward to seeing what that's going to be like.
I think
Break it
those
is.
certain types of people might win
winter.
the breakdance.
My only favorite thing during the winter is the curling.
Curling.
Yeah, that's-
Curling's
that's pretty fucking bad.
Like intense, like weirdly intense. It's so fun to
You like
watch.
curling better than
You need to
hockey.
get through.
Maybe the bobsled thing.
The curling
I like
team
the, I
looks
like
like.
the skeleton. The skeleton just looks crazy.
Oh, I love skeleton.
Yeah.
That one's what the face down one. It's like the luge backwards.
It's where you have that little tiny thing that they're sitting. It's just insane.
No, skeleton's face down. I think when they're like going head first. It's like the luge with going head first.
But,
Yeah.
then you have skeet shooting.
Take care. Enjoyed it. Thank you.
And now.
Enjoyed it. Yes.
Take care.
You got skeet
good trip.
shooting during the summer. I mean, that's
Phenomenal
Enjoyed.
trip.
We're glad you came.
Good
Got
time.
to shoot ski.
I just wish I could take the red bus.
Next time, Bob.
Here, you can have this chair, bro.
Don't take the red pill.
Todd, do you have a favorite summer sport? Or anything that you're looking at interested in?
Soccer is usually
Soccer
good.
is awesome.
Yeah, where you going?
USA even in it, the men's team.
Yep.
Yeah,
Front door's this way.
They lost Wednesday, and the women won yesterday.
The team just fired their coach.
Yes, the U.S. men's national team fired their coach. So the Olympics is different. It's basically it's an under 23 squad, so none of your players can really be. I think 22 is an age cap, unless you're like about to turn 23 within a couple months of it, and you're allowed
He does it all
3
the time,
players
unfortunately.
technically of any age. So
Crap, so wasted.
there's a few like older veterans that play for some teams, but the rest of the team has to be 23 and under players for the Olympics.
I mean, I would say soccer. I mean, there's some other ones that pique my interest.
Beach volleyball.
We'll say beach volleyball. And swimming, back when Michael Phelps was dominating, was always fun to watch.
What's the chick's name? Is it Ledecky? And like she's just utterly insane.
Katie
like,
Ledecky, yeah.
But I mean, I'm kind of with Travis. I think the Winter Olympics are better just in a sense because it's easy to get glued to Olympic hockey. Maybe some of the summer events are really good too.
None of y'all watch
Gymnastics?
Yeah.
Gymnastics, no.
I did gymnastics when I was younger, so I'm always interested from that aspect.
I'm gonna admit that.
Well, I mean,
I like watching it as well.
I'm curious to see how Simone Biles is going to do.
Yeah.
the Fierce Five. What was the other one? The Final Five. You know,
Fast Freddy.
Michaela Maroney. Just saying.
Carrie Strug.
No, not Carrie Strug. The 90s.
I'm honestly, admitting, I'm probably not going to watch a ton of the Olympics. I
had like
care
a
about certain
kid
sports.
crush on Carrie
I want to
Strug.
see
He's like
diving,
the
I want to
manliest
see
looking
swimming, I want
freaking
to see
dude.
track and field.
Chick or weird.
I want to see
When
some
Chris Hand did their
basketball
impression of
and
her on Saturday Night Live.
whatnot. But I'm not going to go out of my way to watch a ton of the Olympics. I'm a casual. I care that we do well for the country and we win some medals, but I'm not going to like tune in for a ton of it. I'll get the recap on a daily. I just don't find myself getting back into the Olympics that much anymore. Soccer is one of my favorite sports.
I'm with
I'm
Patrick.
gonna watch some of the soccer matches just because it's a good time to see some younger players.
Yeah.
But if there's something else going on in my life, I'm not gonna
stay up till 5
Well,
a.m.
and you just mentioned that what kills me is like that whole time delay.
And then
Well,
they'll
that's-
announce it
yeah.
like when it
So
happens.
the opening ceremony for us was at 6:30 tonight. I started watching it, but I realized
That's a replay. It started at
that was a
12:30 in the
replay.
afternoon.
It actually
Yeah, but
started
like
at
once things are
12:30.
actually like in real time, like the box scores or whatever, like they're gonna come out and like I remember like when like the Olympics were going on, they're like, oh, so and so the U.S. gymnastics team won, and they announced it like in the middle of the day, and then we all watch it prime time, and I'm like,
it sucks. I don't like
it's like okay,
It's the same with World Cup. It's like it depends on the delay. If like
I'll watch World
if it's
Cup.
like in friggin' Tokyo and it's like it's live at 5 a.m. It's like okay, I'm sleeping. Sorry.
Another thing that always just struck me as odd about the Olympics, some of the events
Yeah.
start
Is there one of those on the
before
table?
people go
Sean has those.
And that's just odd.
Live dangerously. Go for the
They were
six.
mentioning that today.
Yeah, I think
Pop
rugby
go.
and
Yeah.
soccer
Is there a winter
started a
green?
day or two before.
The men-
And
I don't have a winter
Argentina team-
The men played Wednesday.
Yeah.
The men played Wednesday. The women played yesterday, Thursday, and then the opening ceremonies
Spit it
were
out in
today.
30 minutes.
So, yeah.
I will say I've been
Tastes like
catching
coffee.
some of the I guess
Would
the
go well with it.
pre-trials or whatnot
Did you try these?
early in the morning at the gym, and
Premium events.
it's mostly been rugby, and I've actually been watching it. So said this morning, USA was beating the crap out of
I don't want
Uruguay,
your little
Uruguay in rugby.
See, has three
There's
big
these old games that really rubbed off on, you know. I mean, it's
Y'all have one of these?
in comparison,
I'm
it's,
doing
it's,
He's
pretty,
rocking a 6.
it's pretty eventful to watch.
I haven't started hiccuping yet.
He'll be fine.
I mean,
They're not.
I've been using 2 of these
Rugby.
at a time.
I do 2 6s.
No roll, man.
I'm a big guy. I got a lot
I
of
don't.
nicotine
Not
eating
anymore.
this.
Not anymore.
Did
Maybe
you
I
at
should
one
get
point?
back into it.
Wait, why?
I'd rather not disclose, but maybe I should get back into it.
Didn't we know somebody that had season tickets?
We did.
Well,
Somebody that we used to know?
Somebody that we used to know.
Russell is our Bill of Gold correspondent now. I think he's the only one that goes to like their games or anything like that.
So those games are great. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't necessarily go there to watch rugby, but
I go to get drunk and
What the hell is rugby?
What is rugby?
Rugby's the most wildest like sport that like they come up with the terminology like on the spot while you're watching it. Like
They make the rules up as
like
they
what
go
the fuck
along.
the rule like most people know like 80% of the rules and like some bullshit happens and like what the fuck's going on? That guy just kicked it out of bounds, but they're getting the ball back. Like I don't understand.
I had some
that a
sweet,
peppermint Sean?
some sweet tickets,
A little bit.
So I got to go to the suite a couple
Like,
weeks
like
ago.
Listerine.
and I was sitting behind these two
Blue hair.
hooligans.
Blue
And
hair.
I guess it's politically correct to call them lesbians.
Yeah.
Dykes.
And they were explaining the whole game to me.
They played in
I
college.
had no idea what the fuck I was looking at. But it was very fun though. I mean, it was.
They played in
I
college.
really
on
enjoy
the
it.
men's team.
It's an interesting, you know, not what I'm used to. So like it's kind of fun to learn about. I also just like going and hanging out. And,
Pretty sure they drove.
Russell's like chips and salsa. It goes with everything.
that playoff game that I was at, they actually had the most people there I've ever seen.
You mean the attendance cracked 10,000?
Yeah, bro, I think it might have.
Please remove me.
No, I have to say though, like Russell mixes well with all kind of people because Dylan brought one of his fun friends to Sean's party, and I thought we were gonna have to save Russell, and he was like,
Oh, no, I got along with him good.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like Russell just mixes so well
Russell, so
with everybody. He's a great addition to our crew. I have to give Patrick
You
props.
saying gay dudes want to know if he's gay?
No. Just because the guy took his shirt off doesn't mean he's gay. Okay? All right.
We're gonna have, wait, remember this time? 1 hour, 59 minutes, we're gonna have to redact a whole bunch of shit.
What about gay dudes taking their shirts off?
He was only taking his shirt off because it was hot outside.
Yeah, I
It was
mean,
indoors.
they didn't want Russell to rub his nipples.
you're excited. Feel these nipples.
But I will.
It's like you're a man.
Great
I
reference.
will say, man, like,
You're excited.
Russell has been, a great addition to the pod. He was a great addition to the St. Louis trip. I mean, he just goes with the flow. He has a good time wherever he goes.
That's what I was giving him a compliment.
Even NOLA Gold games.
I was saying like he's like chips and salsa. It goes with everything.
Pumpkin spice,
But we're still going to replace
No,
it with
no,
pumpkin
chips and
spice.
salsa is far
We
better
can't
than
ask,
pumpkin.
we already asked Russell that question. So
What'd you say? Chips and salsa or pumpkin spice?
Oh wait, what?
He said chips and
he did.
salsa.
Thank you.
I don't remember
That's
being
what's
asked this
correct.
question.
The correct answer.
No.
I love asking people that have no clue that question, and they're like, "What? Why?" They like, have no idea
All right,
why.
Reginald.
Sure.
I mean, I answered chips and salsa.
So we've asked you that before.
I don't remember that.
No,
That was one of our
that
early
was an
episodes.
early
Yeah,
episode.
yeah.
Patrick asked me when I first joined.
Patrick's crew has been getting bigger since then.
I'm kind
So for the record, ketchup absolutely needs to go in hot dogs.
Oh.
Ooh,
Shots fired.
shots fired.
Get
that's
out.
That's a true blue Patrick friend right there.
And
Because I don't agree with the ketchup.
And I
I'm
will
a
agree.
mustard guy.
Ketchup belongs on hot dogs for
When you're
those
6.
12 and under.
When they're cut up on a plate, and all you're doing is eating cut up hot dogs.
Is that not how y'all eat them in little tiny circles?
You're in that little Dachshund knife. You drop that on top of the hot dog and it cuts it in like 8
Do
pizzas.
you spread mayo on the bun?
No.
Patrick's life.
Yes. That's what I was mentioning.
I don't do that. I'm mustard straight.
Spread mayo on the bun, then put the dog, then put the chili and cheese on top. I have. Yes. I feel disgusting when I do it, but it's amazing. It
Patrick's
tastes
going to
amazing.
continue looking at me after this comment. But after you cut it with the Dachshund knife, then you have to eat it with the little Mickey Mouse fork.
What the fuck is a dachshund?
It looks like a Dachshund that you put over the hot dog, and it's just like a knife that cuts it in like 8 pieces.
So it looks like a
Who
dog.
the fuck does that?
Kids.
Who has that?
No one does
Who
that.
has that knife?
No one does that.
I just heard of that just now.
Use a regular knife.
If we still,
TIL. Today I learned.
if I still
For the
have
Reddit people
mine
out
at the
there.
house,
Have a
These
dachshund
things
knife.
hit pretty quickly.
I'll bring it to the next
Like,
pod.
affect you pretty quickly.
You have one of
I feel
these?
it.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I got 2
Woo,
kids eating hot
glorious.
dogs and ketchup.
A little lightheaded. You're good.
Yeah.
it feels
You
fine.
Talk
Dachshund
about
knife
being
it.
lightheaded. God damn.
I've
Just
never.
sit for 20
I'll
minutes.
bring
You'll
it
be
to the
fine.
next pod and I'll still have it.
It's 6 milligrams. I got 2 in right
I
now.
first met you back in 2000.
pretty spot on.
Yeah, they hit you in like
The
5
twins,
minutes.
you go twin
It was pretty quick.
The name of the
And
name.
they're like,
I've known y'all for
Yeah,
probably
it's not going to sustain.
off and on
It's not
16,
like
17
for-
plus years.
I
I've
don't know.
never been more disgusted with both of you than I am right now. Ooh, can't you use dust like to come hot dog? Fuck you.
Ketchup goes on everything.
Dude,
I mean, ketchup's
people
great.
put ketchup in red beans, which I don't do.
My brother-in-law puts ketchup on my mashed potatoes.
Dachshund hot dog. There it is. Look.
Yeah, I don't know
All
how I
I'll
feel
tell you
Let me
about
see.
that.
Let me
was
see.
Dachshund hot dog cutter. You want that
I've
dog?
never seen that in my
Never
life.
seen
till
it.
Is it
this
looks
now.
like a dog?
Is this from your childhood? Is that y'all's
Do
childhood?
you put
Is
the
that what
hot
y'all
dog
had?
in
It
it?
was from my kid's
So
childhood.
wait, your theory doesn't hold up water because Mike's a kid and he's never. Mike's
Well, you already.
Mike's
gave the
under
answer
12.
Mike has kids and he's never done that for his kids. So it's not just like, oh, because I have kids, they use ketchup in a fucking Dachshund
But-
cutter. No.
But does Mike do it?
It's like all us unkid
Patrick, just
people.
because I say a lot of stupid shit doesn't mean I'm a
child. But
I beg to
so
you're just a bad
Alex,
teammate.
So Alex and Lucas,
Just a bad teammate.
Alex and Lucas don't cut their hot dogs with a Dachshund knife. But does
Probably because no one's heard of it till just now.
But does Michael?
They use a regular ass knife.
Yeah, who doesn't use a regular fucking knife?
Does Michael?
Who uses a Dachshund knife?
Fantasy team name is the Dachshund Cutter.
The Dachshund Cutter.
All right, I'm in. And that's my team.
The picture of the fucking thing is the team logo.
DDP with that face that Dachshund had on it.
The Dachshund Cutter.
DDP.
But,
So does that wrap up our? I think that's a good
That's
ending.
a good way to close it right there.
I got
Nothing redacted.
Michael, do you eat your hot dog with a Mickey Mouse fork?
I used to. Last month, I just threw it away.
And I had the little Mickey Mouse ears on.
Do you put the dog in the cutter and you like press it down?
Yeah,
I've never fucking heard of this or seen this in my life.
Next pod, I'm bringing it, and we're gonna do a demonstration.
If you ever serve me a fucking hot dog that's been used and cut with a Dachshund knife, I'm flipping fucking hot dogs off the plate.
Travis made this sound like it was a normal culinary
Yeah,
thing.
it's something like
It's like oh yeah, like Wolfgang Puck used a Dachshund knife in his.
Dachshund-shaped hot dog cutter.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Kids food slicing device. Set of 2.
It's like a.
Guess what this
it's
is
like a
on?
PB
Wish.com.
It's called a knife.
Wish.com. It's called a knife,
Those
and you
canned
just
onion
So it's probably right there.
Hey, that's a
next
great
to
band, The
dildos
Knife.
and
Anybody
fucking
listen to them?
butt plugs.
the knife.
Yeah, the knife.
You're
Real,
your
real,
Dachshund knife.
real out there.
Here's your crotchless
No, I
penis.
haven't heard.
I know the sword.
I know the sword too.
It's on Wish.com in between the butt plugs and dildos.
And on that bombshell,
Wagons out.
Oh my.